Chapter 83. Su Yayan, who was inexplicably stuffed with a groundless love that turned into hatred, and was even dragged by the scumbag to tell her about his deep affection for a certain someone, felt goosebumps all over her body. She was so angry that she laughed and decided not to leave. She shook off Hu Xiaofeng's hand and took 2 steps back. She chuckled and said, "Where did you get the confidence to think that I'm so deeply in love with you that I can't extricate myself from it? I'm even willing to sacrifice my own happiness to attract your attention and beg you to look back at me?" Su Yiyan couldn't help but shudder after she finished speaking. Did this man really think that he was a stallion? Any woman who saw him would be infatuated with him and would live or die for him. She wasn't cheap. These days, 4-legged toads weren't easy to find, but 2-legged men were everywhere, okay? Not to mention, there was such an outstanding man who was in love with her. How stupid must she be to fall in love with someone who might not even be found in the trash? You don't have to rush to deny it. I understand everything. Su Yiyan was dumbfounded. She thought to herself, what do you understand? Are all scumbags these days so narcissistic? If you don't have such feelings for me, why would you try so hard to get engaged to me? Why would you be so angry when you found out that I was with Jingping, to the point that you didn't even hesitate to marry my uncle? Su Yiyan furrowed her brows. She wanted to say that she didn't feel wronged at all when she married Hu Chenhuan and that it was the happiest thing in her life. Unfortunately, before she could say it, Hu Xiaofeng interrupted her again. Don't tell me that this was an accident. You clearly had many other choices after the engagement was called off. Why did you insist on marrying my uncle, who is from the same family as me? Su Yiyan. Scumbag, you're too dramatic. I really don't know how to cooperate with you. You dare to say that you don't have any feelings for me? Why wouldn't I dare to say it? Su Yiyan looked at Hu Xiaofeng as if he was looking at an idiot who thought too highly of himself. Unexpectedly, in Hu Xiaofeng's eyes, this glance was seen as a sad expression on her face. He felt more and more certain that his guess was right, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but curl up crazily. I knew it. How could anyone like a cripple like Hu Chenhuan? I heard that the car accident that year not only crippled his legs, but also caused him to lose his ability to reproduce. A man like him who can't stand on his own 2 feet, if you really want to get married, can he satisfy you? Can it make you a real woman? Su Yiyan was a little impatient when he heard Hu Xiaofeng's smug bragging. However, when he heard the latter part of the sentence, his face instantly darkened. His gaze towards Hu Xiaofeng also became murderous. Say that again. What? Hu Xiaofeng was stunned. He curled his lips and said disdainfully, "He's just a cripple." Ouch! Before he could say the word cripple, Hu Xiaofeng was in so much pain that he almost knelt on the ground. His entire face turned red. Where was the complacent look that he had when he said that Su Yiyan still had feelings for him? At the corner of the corridor, Hu Xiaofeng's words had also made Yu Zian restless. He wanted to rush out and beat him up, but his body suddenly stiffened. For some reason, he felt the same as Hu Xiaofeng's pain in the ass. Chapter 84. Su Yiyan looked at the finger that was about to hit her. Her eyes turned cold as she sneered, "I hate it when people point fingers at me." Without waiting for the other 2 to react, she grabbed Hu Xiaofeng's wrist and pulled him forward. Then she threw him over her shoulder. Bang! Just by listening to the sound, one could imagine how painful it must be for the person who was being thrown around like a sandbag. Su Yiyan was furious and did not show any mercy. Hu Xiaofeng was not only in pain from the lower half of his body, but also felt like his entire body was about to fall apart. He was paralyzed on the ground and could not get up for a long time. Even so, he still stared at Su Yiyan. His ferocious expression was really frightening. "How dare you? How dare you? For a cripple, you..." Su Yiyan was about to leave, but when she heard what he said, she immediately turned back and gave him another kick without hesitation. The miserable shriek made one's hair stand on end, but it was not enough to arouse Su Yiyan's compassion. She was about to explode from anger. "Cripple your sister. Today, I'll let you have a taste of being a cripple," Su Yiyan said as she kicked Hu Xiaofeng with all her strength. She even chose to step on those painful acupoints. If a tiger doesn't show its might, you guys really think I'm a sick cat. What did you just say? Was I the one who tried every possible way to marry you? F***ck. Does your whole family have Alzheimer's and intermittent amnesia? Back then, it was your parents who took the initiative to come to my house and beg my grandparents. They took advantage of the fact that your mother and my mother were best friends in university and begged my parents to betroth me to you. How long has it been since then? How did it become me trying every possible way to marry you? You're distorting the truth. Aren't you afraid that the wind will cut your tongue? You be asterisk. Before Hua Xiaofeng could finish cursing, Su Yan kicked him again. As for the annulment of the engagement and the matter between you and that shameless mistress, do you think you're worthy of it? Do you think that I would give up on such a rare treasure and pick up a pair of used shoes instead? Hua Xiaofeng was in so much pain that his forehead was drenched in cold sweat. When he heard Su Yiyan describe him as a pair of broken shoes, he almost lost his breath and died of anger on the spot. You really think you're so popular? Why don't you take a look at yourself? Hua Xiaofeng, as a piece of trash, please stay in the trash. Don't come out and pollute the environment, okay? How dare you compare yourself to my Chenhuan when you're such a coward? How dare you talk about him like that? Who asked you to keep your mouth clean? Who asked you to keep talking? Who asked you to keep talking? The more Su Yan spoke, the angrier she got. She kicked Hua Xiaofeng a few more times. Yu Zian, who was observing from the side, was speechless. He thought that she was a daughter flower that only knew how to cry. He didn't expect her to be a man-eating flower. With that thought in mind, Yu Zian sneaked a peek at Hua Xiaofeng, who was lying on the ground like a dead dog and was barely breathing. At the same time, he couldn't help but feel a chill down his spine. The future young madam's fighting spirit was a little too strong. When he thought about how this young madam might get into an argument with their young master after marrying into the family, that scene, Yu Zian was so scared by his own imagination that he shuddered. However, with how much young master doted on young madam, they probably wouldn't get into an argument. Chapter 85. After punching Hua Xiaofeng to her heart's content, Su Yan felt a little better after venting some of her grievances from 2 lifetimes. She let out a sigh of relief, tidied up her slightly messy clothes, and instantly changed from a domineering flower back to a cute little sweetheart. However, this little sweetheart's words were still full of hostility and threat. Remember to respectfully call me and Chenhuan uncle and aunt when you see us in the future. Otherwise, I'll cripple you every time I see you. After saying this, Su Yan did not even look at Hua Xiaofeng and hurriedly left in her high heels. Not long after she left, Yu Zian sneaked out from around the corner. Looking down at Hua Xiaofeng, who was not sure if he was alive or dead, he vented his anger and cursed, "Serves you right." After Su Yiyan left, she did not stay outside for long and quickly returned to the pet shop. The moment she saw Hua Chenhuan, Su Yan's originally restless heart finally calmed down completely, and the smile on her face became more genuine. "Did you wait long? My stomach suddenly felt a little uncomfortable, so I stayed a little longer." "You don't have to apologize. Are you still feeling uncomfortable?" Su Yan was stunned for a moment before she realized that Hua Chenhuan was asking her if she still felt uncomfortable with her stomach. She did not know why, but her eyes suddenly felt a little sore. God was really unfair. Why should such a good person be looked down upon and slandered by others because of the harm she had suffered in the past? Thinking of this, Su Yiyan felt a little regretful. She should have kicked that scum a few more times. If Yu Zian, who was busy cleaning up the mess, knew what Su Yiyan was thinking at that moment, he would probably sigh and say, "Young mistress, if you kicked him a few more times, he would really die." "It's okay, I don't feel uncomfortable anymore." "Did you see anything else just now?" "No, I'm not very familiar with these things." "Then forget it, these things are enough for them to play with. Let's go back. Dun Dun must be waiting for us at home." Hua Chenhuan was not in a hurry to answer. Instead, she glanced at Yu Zian, who had just returned with Su Yiyan. After receiving an affirmative nod from the other party, he replied with a faint smile, "All right." Su Yiyan and Su Yiyan got rid of the eyesore and happily went home with the small gifts they had chosen. On the other hand, when Jingping, who was finally able to get some fresh air, followed Huo Xiaofeng to the shopping mall to pick out clothes, was not so lucky. She waited in the clothing store for a long time, but Huo Xiaofeng didn't come back. She called him several times, but no one answered. In the end, he could only change out of the clothes he had chosen under the waiter's meaningful gaze and leave in a sorry state. After coming out of the clothing store, when Jingping's entire face was dark, she suppressed her anger and took out her phone to call Huo Xiaofeng again. Of course, the call didn't go through again. When Jingping was so angry that her teeth itched, she directly blocked Huo Xiaofeng's phone number. She opened her contact list and wanted to call a friend over to pick her up. However, a private message suddenly popped up in the back end of her live stream room. The contents of the private message was not unfamiliar to her. The general idea was that someone in the gourmet area had plagiarized her live stream and had gained the support of many people. At first, when Jingping didn't pay much attention to it, she felt that no matter what, these people couldn't be a threat to her. They were just imitating others. Until she saw the holographic image of the spicy boiled fish at the end of the private message, when Jingping's pupils shrank. The hand holding the phone trembled. Chapter 86. Su Yiyan didn't know that when Jingping had noticed her with just a holographic projection and was afraid of her. Sure enough, Dun Dun liked the small gifts that the two of them brought back. As soon as they were handed to it, it pounced on it and hugged it tightly. Su Yiyan took the opportunity to stuff the dog and the gifts into Huo Chenhuan's hands and let him bring them home. Poor Dun Dun was given away again after returning home for a few hours. Before it left, it almost cried, threw a tantrum, and acted cute. It clung tightly to its owner's sleeves and refused to let go. Helpless, its owner had a stepfather. She had long changed from a biological mother to a stepmother. No matter how shamelessly it threw a tantrum, it couldn't beat a soft call from its stepfather. Chi-Chi's flight is tomorrow morning. I have to pick her up. Let's have lunch together? Huo Chenhuan didn't really like to meet strangers unless it was unavoidable for business. But he liked it when Su Yiyan took the initiative to introduce her friends to him. This made him feel that Su Yiyan was trying to integrate him into her life and make him a part of her life. Late that night, the old family Huo residence was dark. It was quiet downstairs. There wasn't anyone around. Only in a corner of the courtyard, a person was waving a shovel miserably and digging a hole in despair. Suddenly, a series of footsteps came from behind. The figure waving the shovel froze. Like a rusty robot, he turned his head and looked over. After confirming that there was nothing behind him, he heaved a sigh of relief. Who knew that in the next second, a hand would be placed on his shoulder? The late-night gardener was speechless. Ow, ow, ow. Don't come over, don't come over. If you come over again, I'll hit you. I'll really hit you. What are you shouting for in the middle of the night? Aren't you afraid of waking young master up? The familiar scolding made Yu Zian's head go blank. He opened his eyes tentatively. After seeing the two people not far away, he asked in a daze, Xiaoyang? Yanbai? Gu Xiaoyang rolled his eyes at him. Who else could it be? Yu Zian's legs turned to jelly. He said angrily, You two are too much. You came up behind me without saying anything and even patted my shoulder. Don't you know that you can scare me to death? Hey, so the two of us came over to show concern for you, but we were wrong? Yanbai, let's go. Don't bother with this ingrate. Are you here to show concern for me? You're obviously here to laugh at me. It would have been better if Yu Zian had not mentioned it. Gu Xiaoyang could not help but laugh out loud. Ha, you two. You went out with young madam and got yourself such a job. I'm dying of laughter. Yu Zian saw him laughing and became even angrier. He raised the shovel and was about to shovel him. What are you laughing at? Not only are you not helping me, you're even laughing at me. What kind of brother are you? All right. Both of you, enough is enough. Zui Yanbai stood between the two of them and held Yu Zian's hand. He said with a headache, What's going on? Didn't you accompany young master to Miss Su's house today? What happened? Why did Zian start farming as soon as he came back? When Yu Zian heard the word, farmer, He felt like he had nothing left to live for. Gu Xiaoyang couldn't help but laugh out loud again. It's like this. Miss Su's best friend is coming back tomorrow. After lunch, the two of them invited each other to go shopping and buy gifts for her. Chapter 87. Gu Xiaoyang could totally understand Zui Yanbai's shock. Yes, you didn't hear wrongly. Young master went shopping with Miss Su today. Miss Su even bought a lot of hats and scarves for young master, and young master put them all in his wardrobe. Zui Yanbai's face was full of surprise, but when he thought about Miss Su, he felt that it was only natural. In this world, only Miss Su could make their young master change for her willingly. If you want to go shopping, then go shopping. Young master won't punish you for no reason. Did you do something to make young master angry? Yu Zian looked embarrassed. Gu Xiaoyang coughed softly and said in disgust, speaking of which, the culprit is actually Hua Xiaofeng? What does this have to do with Hua Xiaofeng? Yu Zian's face darkened. He told Gu Xiaofeng about how Hua Xiaofeng bribed a customer in the pet shop to pour water on Su Yiyan, forcing Su Yiyan to go to the bathroom to clean up. Then, he followed Su Yiyan all the way to the bathroom door and said a lot of disgusting things to her. He told her everything in detail about how Hua Xiaofeng angered their future young madam and how she was killed. He even emphasized the words that Hua Xiaofeng used to attack their young master. You don't know, but Miss Su listened to Hua Xiaofeng at first. Although she was very impatient, she didn't want to talk to him. But when he mentioned young master, Miss Su's face suddenly changed. She looked at Hua Xiaofeng as if he wanted to eat someone. Then Hua Xiaofeng started to have bad luck. You didn't see how he looked like. He was almost pressed to the ground and beaten by Miss Su. Just thinking about it makes me happy. Yu Zian couldn't help but laugh at the end. In fact, when Hua Chenhuan asked him to be in charge of Su Yiyan's public relations, he didn't dare to have any objections on the surface, but he was actually not very happy about it. However, after this incident, Yu Zian had completely changed his view of Su Yiyan. He was no longer dissatisfied with Hua Chenhuan's previous arrangements. From now on, he had to work hard and cling onto the thigh of the future young madam so that he could reach the peak of his life. Hearing his words, Zui Yanbai thought of something else. Miss Su seemed to be especially thin and small when she was young. The Su family was worried that she would be bullied by her peers because of her thin and weak body, so they hired many masters to teach her martial arts. It's normal that Hua Xiaofeng couldn't control her. This time, he really kicked an iron plate. Serves you right. You weren't there at the time, but I heard it clearly. It was his parents who begged Miss Su's parents to betroth Miss Su to him. In the end, they accused Miss Su of still having feelings for him and pretended to persuade Miss Su not to be with young master. Did they really think that no one knew what their family was up to? The Su family took the initiative to marry our young master. Hua Qihan probably can't even sleep well now, right? He even said that he was destined to be with that mistress, and that he could be friends with Miss Su even if they couldn't be husband and wife. I almost vomited when I heard it, let alone Miss Su. She's probably disgusted. Gu Xiaoyang sneered and mocked. Like father, like son. Don't their family have done enough disgusting things? Chapter 88. Yu Zian rubbed his nose guiltily and laughed dryly. Aren't I just curious? Don't you dare say that you're not curious about Miss Su's feelings towards Hua Xiaofeng at all? What do you think of our young master? The two of them choked, unable to refute. They were indeed curious about Su Yiyan's feelings towards Hua Chenhuan. When Hua Xiaofeng broke off the engagement, she suddenly announced that she wanted to marry Hua Chenhuan. It was quite thought-provoking. Not to mention Hua Xiaofeng's wishful thinking, they also had doubts in their hearts before this. They were worried that Su Yiyan's decision was just a spur-of-the-moment decision, a means for her to take revenge on the family Hua and Hua Xiaofeng. This was also the main reason why Yu Zian didn't jump out to help at the start, but instead sat on the sidelines and watched for a long time. He wanted to see how Su Yiyan would react to Hua Xiaofeng and how she would react to his words. Most importantly, when the other party mentioned Hua Chenhuan, would she choose to silently agree or take the initiative to defend him? The results of his probing were delightful, but he also paid a painful price for it. Moreover, didn't Miss Su come out unscathed in the end? Don't think that he didn't notice that when he told her what Su Yiyan said to Hua Xiaofeng to defend him, his eyes were filled with adoration. After all, he had been by Hua Chenwan's side for more than 10 years. How could Yu Zian not see that his young master was secretly happy under his expressionless face? In other words, in the end, the two young lovers were happy, but the one who was hurt was him, a single dog. It was really a tragedy. If Miss Su wasn't fine, do you think young master would just punish you as simple as farming? He would have sent you to the border and let you fend for yourself. Yu Zian was just saying it. He didn't really have much of an opinion about the punishment. What he cared more about was, oh, of all the things Miss Su likes, why does she have to like blue roses? This is great. Young master wants me to plant blue roses in this courtyard, and I have to plant them all. How long do I have to be busy for? All right, be content. It's good enough that young master didn't ask you to plant blue roses in the manor. Yu Zian shuddered when he imagined the consequences. Even the small garden in front of him seemed much more pleasing to the eye. Sui Yanbai saw the look of fear on his face and tried to hold back her laughter. By the way, what happened to Hua Xiaofeng and the person who poured water on Miss Su in the pet shop? What else can we do? To dare to casually take a stranger's money and help him lure a girl out, he's either stupid or greedy by nature. I'm the best at dealing with such people. Since Gu Xiaoyang had said so much, the two of them could roughly guess what happened to that person, so they didn't ask any more questions. As for Hua Xiaofeng, Yu Zian chuckled. At that time I saw it clearly. Young madam kicked him 3 or 4 times. She didn't hold back at all. It's best to kick that bastard until he can no longer have sex. Let's see if he dares to talk about young master's disability in the future. Every time I see him, I'll beat him up. Gu Xiaoyang and Zui Yanbai froze for a moment and shuddered unconsciously. They couldn't blame Yu Zian for completely changing his attitude towards Miss Su this time. Chapter 89. They secretly hoped that Hua Xiaofeng would be disabled. However, Hua Xiaofeng was the male protagonist of the original novel. Even though he had been kicked repeatedly by Su Yiyan, some of his functions were fortunately preserved. However, it would be difficult to use them in the future, and it would be difficult for him to use them in the next 1 or 2 years. Even so, Hua Xiaofeng, who woke up and learned of the diagnosis, was so angry that he almost fainted on the spot. Lying in bed, he yelled and screamed and overturned the table beside the bed. Pieces of melon and fruit were scattered all over the floor. It was a mess. B*Tisich, B*Th. I'm going to kill her, kill her. Mrs. Hua's eyes were slightly red, and her heart ached. Xiaofeng, calm down. Don't hurt yourself. I'm already in this state. How can I calm down? Dad, you have to help me. That B*Tch has gone too far. She wants to end our family's bloodline. It would have been better if Hua Xiaofeng hadn't said anything. After hearing what he said, Hua Qihan's face darkened. He picked up a glass that had survived and threw it directly at Hua Xiaofeng. Hua Xiaofeng couldn't move and couldn't dodge at all. He could only face this terrible situation with a pale face. Mrs. Hua screamed and almost fainted on the spot. Fortunately, Hua Qihan didn't really want to kill his only son. The glass finally fell on the edge of the bed. With a crash, it fell to the ground and broke into pieces. There was a moment of dead silence in the ward. Mrs. Hua's legs went weak and she almost fell to the ground. Qihan, what are you doing? Xiaofeng is your son, and he was just beaten up like this. How can you? Why can't I? I can't wait to stuff this guy back into your belly and pretend that I don't have a son. How can you say such a thing? Why can't I say it? Ask your good son what he has done. But Mrs. Hua choked. Even if he did something wrong, that little B*Tc shouldn't have hit him like that. It's considered light that they beat her up like this. Hua Qihan pulled up a holographic video with a dark face and directly showed it to his wife. The two protagonists in the video were very close to each other. It was a complete reenactment of the scene where Hua Xiaofeng blocked Su Yiyan and said a lot of things to her. Mrs. Hua's face turned red when she heard Su Yiyan's questions. Wasn't that right? Back then, it was because they had taken a fancy to Cheng Xiuqin's family background and connections that they used the guise of being best friends to matchmake Su Yiyan and Hua Xiaofeng. The Su family thought about it for a while and agreed to the marriage. The Hua family naturally thought that Su Yiyan must be interested in their son to agree to the marriage. Over time, they almost tacitly agreed to this matter and selectively forgot that they were the ones who proposed the marriage in the first place. Mrs. Hua felt her face hurt when someone pointed it out so bluntly. Watching the video again, Hua Qihan was even angrier. Do you know who sent this video? Who is it? It's Hua Chenhuan's subordinate. I've lived for more than 40 years, and I've never been so humiliated like today. If it weren't for Hua Xiaofeng's half-dead appearance, he really wanted to kick his troublesome son to death. Chapter 90. Hua Xiaofeng's face turned pale when he saw the video. He said in disbelief, "Uncle? Uncle's people sent this? How could Uncle's people have this video? Then they also know what I said about Uncle. Now you know what fear is? Why didn't you think before you said it?" Hua Qihan was really angry with his stupid son. They were indeed laughing at Hua Chenhuan's disability in their hearts. Jokes aside, no one dared to say it out loud. This stupid thing mocked and ridiculed in front of someone's fiancé. Who else would they hit if not you? What angered him the most was that even he, an outsider, could see that when Hua Xiaofeng first said those words, Su Yiyan's expression was very impatient and full of sarcasm and disdain. However, this stupid thing seemed to be blind and expressed his magnanimity one-sidedly. In the end, he even involved the topic of Hua Chenhuan. What a pig's brain! If Hua Chenhuan released this video, not only would Hua Xiaofeng become a laughingstock, but he, as his father, would also become a laughingstock. Stay in the hospital for treatment for the next few days. After you're discharged, stay at home and rest well. Don't worry about the company's affairs. Hua Xiaofeng and his mother's faces changed drastically. Mrs. Hua couldn't help but scream, "Qihan, you can't do this. Xiaofeng just joined the company not long ago. What will the others think of him? What will the others say when he returns to the company in the future? Help him think of a way, think of a way." Think of a way? I can't even protect myself. How can I protect such a stupid thing? Do you think our family is not dying fast enough? They planned it. They must have planned it. This is a conspiracy, Dad. This must be Hua Chenhuan's conspiracy. They don't want me to join the company and inherit the Hua Corporation. I was set up by them. So what if it's a conspiracy? Why did you jump into such an obvious trap? Where's your brain? Did you lose your brain from talking about a girlfriend? After scolding him, Hua Qihan seemed to have thought of something and said coldly, "What about his girlfriend? Didn't he say that he had gone shopping with her before the accident? Now that Xiaofeng is lying here, where is she?" When she heard Hua Qihan mention that woman, Mrs. Hua's face darkened. "I just used Xiaofeng's phone to call her a few times, but she didn't answer. It seems that she blocked me. You've just been admitted to the hospital and they've already blacklisted you. This is the woman you chose." With that, Hua Qihan left with a cold face, leaving Mrs. Hua and Hua Xiaofeng at a loss. After a long while, Mrs. Hua seemed to have finally found her voice. Heartbroken, she said, "Xiaofeng, what's wrong with you? Why do you want a wild girl who doesn't care about you instead of a rich girl?" "Mom, why are you—" "Me too? Did I say something wrong? If you hadn't been so willful, the situation wouldn't be like this. Mom, you're too naive. It's obvious that the cripple deliberately set me up. Even if I go to her, they will definitely come to me." Chapter 91. If it weren't for his actions, Su Yiyan wouldn't even have met him, let alone set him up. However, Mrs. Hua, who was used to listening to her son's every word, did not suspect anything. She even resented Su Yiyan and Cheng Xiuqin because of this. Since they had already broken off the engagement, why did they still cause trouble for her son and help Hua Chenhuan, who was their enemy? Hua Xiaofeng and Mrs. Hua believed that this was a trap that was trying their best to drive him out of the Hua Corporation. However, the truth was that Hua Chenhuan was also watching the video that Yu Zian had taken. It was the full version of the video that had not been edited. He replayed the clip of Su Yiyan beating Hua Xiaofeng over and over again. Su Yiyan was clearly indifferent when he was talking about himself, but when Yu Zian talked about his body's flaws, he suddenly exploded and wanted to kill him on the spot. Could it be that in Su Yiyan's heart, he had become the reverse scale that no one could easily touch? This realization made Hua Chenhuan excited. It was clearly a picture of two people, but he could only see one person. That person was like a huge ball of light that attracted his attention at any time and place, making it impossible for him to look away. Dun Dun, who was playing with a ball of yarn in its kennel, suddenly heard its master's voice. Its little ears immediately perked up. It immediately dropped the ball of yarn and rushed out like a small cannonball, wanting to hug its master's leg. The result was predictable. This little meatball slid forward like a wild goose landing on the sand. It took a long time for it to react to what had happened. Fortunately, this little guy's adaptability was not bad. Although it did not understand why it couldn't pounce on its master, it quickly recovered and ran to the bottom of the image to circle around its master. When Dun Dun realized that its master might have neglected it because he was fighting with someone else, its soft fur stood on end. It roared at Hua Xiaofeng in the video, and even wanted to pounce on him and bite him. Naturally, he fell to the ground again and slid forward for a distance. When Hua Chenhuan saw this scene, she was finally amused by this little idiot's acting. Dun Dun. Do I not care about my reputation? In order to prevent the little fellow from flying into a rage out of humiliation and ignoring her like it did 2 days ago, Hua Chenhuan took the initiative to move over and pick it up. She whispered, "You also think that she's amazing, right?" The little fellow's ears perked up again. After a while, it raised its head proudly, with a proud look that said, "Since you praised my master, I won't lower myself to your level." Hua Chenhuan smiled slightly and reached out to rub the little fellow's fluffy head. "Tomorrow, I'll take you to see your Hua Hua." The little fellow's head suddenly rose up, and its two paws proactively rested on Hua Chenhuan's arm. Its black grape-like round eyes stared at Hua Chenhuan, shining with excitement and joy, as if it was asking, "Really? Is that true?" Hua Chenhuan, whose treatment had suddenly increased by several times, was startled. She laughed and said, "This happy look is very similar to your master. People say that pets follow their masters. It seems that it's not unreasonable." Dun Dun didn't understand what he said, and tilted its head in confusion. "Be good tonight. Tomorrow, I'll take you to see your Hua Hua." Chapter 92. In the spacious and bright reception hall, a tall and slim figure slowly walked over from afar. The person was wearing a beige vest paired with casual denim pants. She looked warm and fashionable. She was low-key, but at the same time, she had a cold aura that made people not dare to approach her easily. The most eye-catching thing was that she was holding a soft brown corgi in her arms. This little corgi was like a little princess sitting on a golden throne. It sat in its master's arms with a clear conscience. Its chin was slightly raised, and it patrolled its territory with a particularly cold attitude. "Xiaoqi, over here." Su Yiyan saw the familiar figure of the master and pet from afar and quickly waved to greet them. Ling Xiaoqi heard her voice and quickly took off her sunglasses. The coldness on her face was immediately melted by a warm smile. "Have you been waiting for a long time? Why are you here so early? I thought I would have to wait for a while." "I can't wait to see you in Hua Hua." As soon as Su Yiyan approached, she couldn't control herself and hugged her best friend who had done a lot for her in her previous life but didn't have a good ending in the end. Ling Xiaoqi was stunned by her hug. She blinked in confusion and scolded with a smile, "Why are you suddenly so intimate? All right, hurry up and get up. Don't press on Hua Hua." Su Yiyan hugged her for a while before reluctantly letting go. She turned her attention to the little corgi in her arms. "Hey, Hua Hua, do you still recognize Auntie Yayan? Come, let me hug you." Hua Hua tilted its head and looked at Su Yiyan for a while. It gave Su Yiyan face and stretched out its hand. Su Yiyan was overjoyed. She carefully took Hua Hua out of Ling Xiaoqi's arms, pinched its soft little paw, and said happily, Hua is still as cute and well-behaved as before, unlike the one in my house who only knows how to run around all day and occasionally tear down the house like a husky. It's really worrisome." When Hua heard Su Yian's words, she immediately lifted her chin. Clearly, she was very pleased with Su Yian's praise. Ling Xiaoqi shook her head helplessly and looked around. "Right, where's Dun? Why didn't she come with you?" "At my fiancé's place." "Where's your fiancé?" Ling Xiaoqi was shocked. Su Yiyan valued Dun as much as she valued Hua. This fiancé that she had never met could make Su Yiyan keep Dun by his side. This was definitely true love. "Speaking of which, what's going on between you and your current fiancé? I heard that you and that Hua Xiaofeng have already broken up. It's a long story. You and Hua rushed back early in the morning, so you must be hungry. We've already booked a private room at a high-end restaurant nearby. Let's go there and eat while we talk." Ling Xiaoqi thought for a moment and did not refuse. The restaurant that Hua Chenhuan booked was not far away. They arrived in a few minutes. As soon as they walked through the door of the restaurant, Dun, who had been eagerly waiting in the private room, seemed to have sensed something. He suddenly jumped down from Hua Chenhuan's lap and rushed out happily. When Su Yiyan heard the sound, she knew that her dog had come. She looked helpless and was prepared to be pounced on. Unexpectedly, the dog did not even look at her. He went around her and accurately hugged Ling Xiaoqi's thigh. He looked eagerly at Hua in her arms and called out a few times to please her. Chapter 93. This is Dun? Ling Xiaoqi was stunned for a moment before she recognized the dog that was hugging her thigh the moment they met. It was Su Yiyan's Zai that she had mentioned not long ago. Dun has become so strong in just a few months. When Dun heard the praise of its future mother-in-law, it barked even more happily, vowing to attract the attention of its future wife. Unfortunately, Hua, who was nestled in its owner's arms, only glanced at it coldly and disdainfully when it heard its owner praising another dog. Then, it looked away unhappily and ignored it. Dun didn't mind. It was still looking at its owner with eager eyes, looking very much like a bootlicker. The corner of Su Yiyan's mouth twitched. Finally, she couldn't hold back anymore. She went forward and picked up her heartless dog son. She coughed lightly and said, "Let's talk inside. Let's talk inside." "Awoo!" Dun barked sadly. Obviously, it wasn't very happy to be picked up. Su Yiyan was so angry that she slapped its chubby little butt a few times. Once it saw the little beauty, it couldn't move. This little ingrate. Fortunately, her fiancé's gentle call quickly pulled Su Yiyan out of the negative energy that filled her stomach. Su Yiyan threw away her unfilial dog son and returned to Hua Chenhuan's side. Dun, who had been abandoned, was speechless. Gu Xiaoyang, who had suddenly been entrusted to his care, was speechless. "Let me introduce you. This is my fiancé, Hua Chenhuan. Chenhuan, this is the friend I told you about before, Ling Xiaoqi." Hua Chenhuan shook Su Yian's hand and nodded politely at Ling Xiaoqi. "Hello, Miss Ling, hello." Ling Xiaoqi looked at Hua Chenhuan with surprise and curiosity. When she was overseas, she had heard from Su Yiyan that her fiancé was Hua Xiaofeng's uncle. She had estimated his age to be in his early 30s. But now that they had met him, they realized that he was in his early 30s. If he were to say that he was the same age as Su Yiyan, they might even believe it. Ling Xiaoqi had met Hua Xiaofeng once before, but she didn't have a good impression of him. Now that he saw Hua Chenhuan, he couldn't help but compare him to Hua Xiaofeng. With this comparison, she suddenly understood why Su Yiyan wanted to change her fiancé. Not to mention his appearance and temperament, just by looking at the way the person in front of her faced Su Yiyan, she could tell that he loved her very much and cared about her very much. As long as she was there, he would not see anyone else in his eyes. Just this point alone made him 100 times better than that arrogant Hua Xiaofeng. The only regrettable thing was, Ling Xiaoqi looked at Hua Chenhuan's seat with pity. Hua Chenhuan saw Ling Xiaoqi sizing him up, but he didn't feel offended. Over the years, many people had looked at him with malice. This kind of pity was already considered very kind. Su Yiyen saw that the two of them didn't dislike each other, so she was slightly relieved. She smiled faintly and said, "Take a seat first. Have you ordered?" "I ordered some. You can decide the rest." Su Yiyen nodded and handed the menu to Ling Xiaoqi. "He booked the private room today, and he's also the one who invited the guests. Feel free to order whatever you want. You don't have to be polite with him." Huo Chenhuan smiled helplessly, but more than that, he was indulging her. Ling Xiaoqi's impression of Huo Chenhuan improved. She was only Su Yiyen's friend, but Huo Chenhuan was willing to make such thoughtful arrangements to receive her. It was obvious that he loved her because he loved her. Chapter 94. Since Su Yiyen had said so, Ling Xiaoqi didn't stand on ceremony and ordered a few of her favorite dishes. After ordering, Ling Xiaoqi put Hua Hua down for the time being. Not far away, Dundun's eyes lit up when he saw Hua Hua leave Ling Xiaoqi's arms. He kicked his little legs and was about to pounce in the direction of Hua Hua. Gu Xiaoyang almost couldn't catch him. He had to look at Su Yiyen for help. Su Yiyen's mouth twitched slightly. She gave up and said, "Put it down." The two little guys were so little the last time they met. They probably don't remember each other. Put them together and get to know each other again. Su Yiyen felt guilty when she said that. She didn't know if Hua Hua still remembered Dundun, but Dundun, this little idiot, must have always remembered this little fiancé. As soon as Gu Xiaoyang put it down, Dundun immediately went to Hua Hua's side and rubbed his head. In the end, he even used his chubby little butt to bump Hua Hua. Fortunately, both of them were puppies. Otherwise, Dundun's behavior would have been seen as a hooligan. However, his behavior was not much different from a hooligan. Although Hua Hua didn't have much of a reaction, she didn't pay attention to him from beginning to end. Her face was cold and impatient as if saying, "Don't touch me." Dundun saw that Hua Hua didn't pay attention to him for a long time, so he finally made a big move. He kicked forward hard and wanted to pounce on Hua Hua. Hua Hua was instantly irritated. She screamed and bent her body into an arch shape. Then she pounced on Dundun and attacked with both hands. In a moment, Dundun was rewarded with countless 9 white bone claws. The brown dog's fur was scattered all over the place. Soon it was all over the ground. Dundun was also stunned by the beating. Before he could resist, he was stepped on by his wife and couldn't turn over. Su Yiyen and the others were caught off guard and witnessed a dog version of domestic violence. This big battle, or rather, this one-sided beating, ended with Dundun lying on the ground in a daze, not knowing what to do. Hua Hua's right front leg was pressed on its dog face, and its chin was raised high, as if it was a tyrant punching a bully and kicking a hoodlum. The battle ended with Dundun Su Yiyen, Ling Xiaoqi, the onlookers. Ling Xiaoqi was the first to react. She waved at her dog and said, "Ahem. Hua, get off Dundun and come here." Although Hua Hua was still enjoying the thrill of stepping on Dundun, it obediently returned to Ling Xiaoqi when it heard its owner's call. Su Yiyen breathed a sigh of relief when she saw this. She reached out and poked Dundun, who was still lying on the ground like a corpse, as if she expected better from him. "Look at you, being beaten by your own wife. Losing the first battle has already determined your position in the family. Sorry, Hua Hua has been spoiled by me. She's usually not so fierce." Ling Xiaoqi and Su Yiyen had a good relationship. If only the two of them were present today, they would definitely treat this as a small fight between dogs. They might even get together and talk about it. But there were other people in the house, and according to what Su Yiyen said, Dundun was now under Huo Chenhuan's care. Ling Xiaoqi couldn't help but feel a little embarrassed when this happened. Chapter 95. Dundun barked when it heard its master's words. It wasn't that it couldn't beat its wife. It loved its wife and didn't dare to fight with it because it was afraid of hurting her. "Master, it's fine if you don't comfort me, but you're pouring cold water on me." Dundun felt really wronged. Although Huo Chenhuan could understand Dundun's feelings, he, who always believed that his wife came first, could only agree with Su Yiyen unconditionally. Well, it's Dundun's problem. It has nothing to do with Hua Hua. Dundun. It couldn't have a stepfather and stepmother anymore. It wanted to run away from home and go home with Hua Hua. Gu Xiaoyang stood on the side and watched the show with great interest. He nodded in agreement when he heard their words. Wasn't that right? If it couldn't even beat a little bitch, how could it find a wife in the future? It could only blame itself for being too weak. How could it be blamed on a little bitch? Gu Xiaoyang suddenly froze when he thought of this. He stared at the pink puppy under Su Yan's hand and said in disbelief, "This dog is a male?" Gu Xiaoyang's scream, which was so loud that it almost changed his voice, successfully attracted the attention of everyone present. Su Yan's hand that was stroking Dun Dun suddenly paused. She turned to look at him in confusion. "Don't you know?" Gu Xiaoyang's mouth twitched slightly. He thought to himself, "What would I know?" Since the dog had lived in the family's old house, it had been treated like an emperor. Except for buying things, everything was done by the young master. They couldn't even get close to it or touch it. How could they know if it was a male or female? Not to mention, it was dressed in such a flashy manner. Gu Xiaoyang was just about to complain when his young master's gaze locked on him. The words that were about to come out of his mouth were stuck in his throat, and his whole face turned red. Ling Xiaoqi saw his embarrassment and hurriedly tried to smooth things over. Actually, you can't blame him for misunderstanding. When I first saw Dun Dun, I also thought it was. Our Hua Hua even treated it like a sister. Hua Hua, who was nestled in Ling Xiaoqi's arms, suddenly cried out when she heard her master's words. She looked at Dun Dun with murderous eyes. Su Yan scratched his face guiltily, feeling a little distressed. Hua Chenhuan narrowed her eyes and asked in a low voice, "What's wrong?" "Dun Dun. Actually, it's nothing much. Dun Dun was just a few days old when I brought him home. He was so small, weak, and pitiful. My mom thought it was something new, so she helped me with its basic necessities. She even dug out some old clothes with the auntie at home to make small clothes for Dun Dun. In the end, Dun Dun didn't wear any other clothes, but insisted on wearing this kind of pink with lace. Gu Xiaoyang and the others understood at once. It turned out that this guy was a proper cross-dressing dog. If this happened to other people, my mom might complain a little. But on Dun Dun, my mom only thought it was cute, so she let it dress like this. Hua Hua was adopted by Xiaoqi half a month after that. Considering that the two guys were the same kind, she often took them out to play together. The two little guys became familiar with each other. Ling Xiaoqi sighed when she heard this and interrupted, "At that time, I saw it dressed like that and took it for a girl. Hua Hua also did the same. I thought they were sisters, but I didn't expect." Everyone in the room looked at Hua Hua with sympathy. This was really the real-life version of, "I treat you as a sister, but you want to f***ck me." Chapter 96. Gu Xiaoyang looked at Hua Hua as if he was looking at an innocent woman who had been molested by a bully, and Dun Dun was that bully. Dun Dun, the cross-dressing bully, Bully Dun Dun, woof 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 woo. Dun Dun rubbed against Ling Xiaoqi and reached out his paw to touch Hua Hua. As expected, he received another round of beating, and his brown fur fluttered like snowflakes in the air again. What was worse was that this time, under Hua Hua's paw, a tuft of fur on Dun Dun's head was completely used up, and a small part of it collapsed, revealing his tender skin. To put it bluntly, he was bald. Haha. Su Yan laughed out loud when she saw this scene. Hua Chenhuan held her shoulders to prevent her from laughing too hard and falling off the chair. However, his eyes were also gleaming with schadenfreude, just like Su Yan's. Dun Dun listened to its owner's laughter, and its round eyes were full of confusion. Finally, perhaps it felt a little cold on top of its head, so it turned to look at the glass door in the private room and saw the familiar yet strange bald dog. Dun Dun tilted its head in confusion, and the bald dog tilted its head as well. Dun Dun stretched out his paw, and the bald dog stretched out its paw as well. After a few times, Dun Dun finally realized that something was wrong. Wait, this dog was him? He was bald. Dun Dun looked as if he had been struck by lightning, and he staggered back a few steps in shock. Finally, he sat down on the table, and with a gloomy expression on his face, he shut himself up. Su Yayan looked at her family's dramatic dog, and the smile that she had managed to stabilize almost collapsed again. Fortunately, the dishes they had ordered before were served one after another, and she was successfully rescued from her dog's laughable stupidity. The restaurant that Huchenhuan had chosen was a relatively famous high-end restaurant, and the people who could dine here were either rich or respectable. Therefore, the cost of this meal was naturally not low. However, after eating Su Yiyan's personally cooked Sichuan poached fish, crayfish, and other dishes, Huchenhuan was a little repulsed by these dishes that used to be edible. She barely touched her chopsticks during the meal. Although Su Yiyan was talking to Ling Xiaoqi, part of her attention was still on Huchenhuan. Seeing this, she couldn't help but ask, "Huchenhuan, why are you eating so little? Do you have no appetite, or the dishes here are not to your taste?" Huchenhuan did not hide the truth and said honestly, "It's not as good as yours." Su Yiyan was slightly stunned. She remembered that Huchenhuan had a strong taste. Other than her, there were no strong seasonings like chili on the market, so the dishes she made were naturally not as good. "Then I'll cook for you another day when I'm free. Do you want the ones you've eaten before or something else? There are actually many spicy dishes that you can choose from." "Anything is fine. As long as it's made by you, I'll love it." The two of them whispered as if there was no one else around, thinking that no one could hear them except for each other. Little did they know that when they whispered to each other, pink bubbles kept popping up around them, making it difficult for people to ignore them. Gu Xiaoyang covered his eyes with hidden bitterness, looking as if he had been blinded. Chapter 97. While you were abroad, I learned a thing or two from Aunt Li. If you want to eat it, I'll make some for you to try when I'm free. Ling Xiaoqi's expression stiffened slightly, and she said rudely, "Are you sure you want me to try it and not test for poison?" It was no wonder that Ling Xiaoqi had such an idea. Everyone knew how precious a chef, especially a good chef, was in this era. For a chef, cooking skills and recipes were the foundation of their livelihood. Even their employer could not make them hand over these things. Aunt Li was the cook of the Su family, but Ling Xiaoqi did not believe that she was willing to teach Su Yiyan cooking skills. Su Yiyan knew what she was thinking when she saw her reaction. She snorted and said, "It's up to you whether you want to eat it or not. There are many people who want to eat my dishes now." Ling Xiaoqi laughed but did not ask any more questions. She just treated it as a little fun between the two of them. After lunch, Huchenhuan walked in front with Dun Dun, while Su Yiyan accompanied Ling Xiaoqi and followed behind. Ling Xiaoqi glanced at Huchenhuan, who got along well with Dun Dun, and suddenly said, "Yan, after I came back this time, I feel that you have changed a little." Su Yiyan's heart suddenly thumped. "What changed?" "I can't tell. I just feel that you're a little different from before." Su Yiyan's mood was a little complicated. She was suddenly reborn. Although her temperament did not change drastically, her attitude towards some people was indeed very different from before. She just did not expect that the first person to notice that she was different from before was not her family, nor was it Huchenhuan, but her best friend who had been separated from her for several months before this. Was it because onlookers saw more clearly, or had they actually already noticed that she was different, but did not say it out loud like Ling Xiaoqi? "But I can feel that you're still you. You're still the you I'm familiar with." Su Yiyan breathed a sigh of relief and said with a faint smile, "Yes, I've always been the Su Yiyan you're familiar with. This will never change. As for the change you mentioned, you can understand it as a person who is about to enter the hall of marriage has grown up and matured." Ling Xiaoqi accepted this explanation and agreed, "If that's the case, it's not a bad thing that you've changed a little. At the very least, I have a better eye for people now." Su Yiyan was stunned, but he quickly understood what she was referring to. He joked, "Just a little? All right, it's a lot. However, you still haven't told me why you suddenly broke off your engagement with Hua Xiaofeng and got engaged with his uncle so suddenly. Is there something I don't know about?" Su Yiyan thought that it was true. Previously, Ling Xiaoqi was abroad, so she did not tell her too much. She only told her that her engagement with Hua Xiaofeng was broken, and that she was engaged to another man who was in love with her. The wedding date was unchanged, and she had to come back early to be her bridesmaid. Perhaps because of this, Ling Xiaoqi, who originally planned to come back before the wedding, suddenly came back a month early to clarify the matter. It's not that I suddenly understood and broke off my engagement with him. It's that he took a fancy to a girl, and in front of many people, he made a fuss and asked me to help them. As kind-hearted as I am, I naturally chose to help them when I encountered such a situation. Chapter 98. The volume of Ling Xiaoqi's roar was really not low. The people who were walking in front stopped and looked at them. Huo Chenhuan was fine, but Gu Xiaoyang's face was full of disillusionment. Should he say that she was indeed young madam's best friend? No matter how cute and harmless she looked, she still had a fierce and wild heart. Once she opened her mouth, all the pretense of gentleness was destroyed. Su Yiyan saw his expression and understood everything. She held back her laughter and tugged at Ling Xiaoqi's arm, reminding her, "Why are you swearing? Can't you see that you're scaring people?" Ling Xiaoqi's mouth twitched slightly. She lowered her voice and said, "Isn't it all because of you? Don't change the subject. What's going on with Huo Xiaofeng? That son of a bitch, how dare he cheat on me? He better not let me meet him or I'll break his legs. You don't have to trouble yourself with that. I just beat him up 2 days ago. You can say that I vented my anger." After that, Su Yiyan told her how Huo Xiaofeng forced her family to break off the engagement and how she slapped his family's face and changed the marriage partner to Huo Chenhuan. Also, 2 days ago, Huo Xiaofeng had come to stop her for no reason and said a lot of ridiculous and hateful things. She had beaten him up and sent him to the hospital. She had told her everything. Ling Xiaoqi was furious when she heard that. She wished she could travel back in time to a few days ago and beat Huo Xiaofeng up with Su Yiyan until his mother could not recognize him. He's gone too far, he's gone too far. Doesn't he know whether he has a fiancé or not? Since he has someone he likes, why didn't he break off the engagement with you earlier? He begged you in front of so many people with his so-called true love. He's acting like AB***. Does he think he hasn't lost enough face and wants to drag you down with him? He actually has the face to say that he and that mistress are true love. Even if they don't become husband and wife, they can still be friends. F***ck friends. As expected, shameless people are invincible. Why didn't I come back sooner? If I were here, I would definitely smash his head off. Hua Hua, who was nestled in Ling Xiaoqi's arms, screamed when it heard this. It turned around and buried its head in her arms, afraid that its master would lose control of her emotions and hit its head. Ling Xiaoqi, knowing that Ling Xiaoqi was sensitive to this kind of thing, Su Yiyan quickly comforted her. Okay, I know you're angry. Anyway, you're already back, and I'm now his nominal aunt. What's there to worry about in the future that I won't have a chance to punish that scumbag couple? Ling Xiaoqi's eyes brightened slightly, and her complexion improved a little. Then, she said worriedly, "Then you and Huo Xiaofeng's uncle, I know what you're thinking. Do you think I'm the kind of person who would force myself to settle for a moment of anger?" That's true. Ling Xiaoqi suddenly understood and nodded. Not to mention anything else, just based on the interaction between the two of them, it was obvious that the two of them had feelings for each other. So, was this a lucky hit? Before Ling Xiaoqi could think about it, Dun Dun, who had been walking in front of Huo Chenhuan, suddenly turned back. It barked and circled Ling Xiaoqi. After barking for about half a minute, it suddenly lay on the ground, motionless, as if it had fainted. Ling Xiaoqi was shocked. What's wrong with it? Su Yiyan's eyebrows twitched and she couldn't bear to look at it. It's a scam. It wants you to bring it home with you. Chapter 99. In the end, Dun Dun did not succeed. Originally, Ling Xiaoqi had begun to hesitate whether to bring it along. Su Yiyan also expressed that she did not want this traitorous dog. Victory was in sight, but they did not expect a Hua Hua to appear out of nowhere and beat Dun Dun again, almost making it bald on the other side of its head. In the end, it even kicked it out of Ling Xiaoqi's arms, patted its butt, and left with its owner, not taking a single strand of dog hair with it. Dun Dun did not succeed in the scam and was almost beaten into a bald dog by its future wife. The whole dog was dispirited. It lay on the ground and looked at the back of the Hua Hua with tears in its eyes. Those who did not know would think that it was going to part ways with the other party forever. Su Yan was angry and amused at the same time. After they left, she immediately pulled up an emoji of a throwing a dog in front of Dun Dun. Little ingrate, if you are so useless, I don't want you anymore. Just like this, I will throw you out. Dun Dun looked at the dog that was as meaty as it was thrown into the river by its owner. There was an emoji of, Daddy doesn't want you anymore, next to it. Its face was cold and it was not threatened at all. Su Yiyen was angry, but Hua Chenhuan was very calm. She even taught it, if you like her, continue to chase her until she also likes you. If you are like this after just a little setback, you might as well give up now. Woof woof woof. Hua Chenhuan's words seemed to irritate Dun Dun. It suddenly raised its head and barked at Hua Chenhuan a few times. Hua Chenhuan's expression did not change. She said in a low voice, What's the use of barking at me? Am I wrong? Woof woof woof. Since you don't want to give up, then stay here and find a way to make her like you. Woof woof woof. You still have to ask me? Can't you use your brain? You are the one who wants to chase her, not me. Woof woof woof. I don't need it. We're in love with each other, unlike you. It's unrequited love. Su Yiyen. Hey, how are you two communicating across species? What happened to the two of you when I wasn't around these past few days? But no matter what, after Hua Chenhuan and Dun Dun's conversation, Dun Dun finally recovered. He even leaned against the car window and stared at the bald part of his head sadly, which made Gu Xiaoyang's eyelids twitch. This dog was indeed a demon. Hua Chenhuan had just finished lecturing Dun Dun when a faint sigh came from beside her. You're so clear and logical when it comes to educating others, but why are you backing down when it's your turn? Hua Chenhuan's body trembled. She subconsciously clenched her fists and said hoarsely, I won't. What you just said won't happen in the future. He now wished he could turn Su Yan into Thumbelina and hold her in his hands 24 hours a day. How could he watch someone who belonged to him be taken away by someone else like before? Su Yiyen took a few seconds to understand the meaning of Hua Chenhuan's words. Her eyes lit up, and she responded with great joy, okay. After receiving Ling Xiaoqi, Su Yiyen originally planned to accompany Hua Chenhuan for a while before going home. Unfortunately, the plan could not keep up with the changes. Before she had time to go home with Hua Chenhuan, her eldest brother called. Chapter 100. Su Yiyen was dumbfounded when she received the news. She immediately rejected Hua Chenhuan's offer to send her home and hurried back alone. What a joke! Her grandfather already had a lot of opinions about this marriage. If she allowed them to meet without any preparation, as the middleman, she was afraid that she would explode on the spot. Su Yiyen hurried back home. The first thing she saw was the stern-looking old man sitting in the middle of her living room. Su Yiyen's eyes immediately reddened. Without thinking, she rushed over and hugged her grandfather as she cried. Before old Master Cheng came, he had already planned to teach this lawless and mischievous granddaughter a lesson. He wanted her to know that she shouldn't joke about her lifelong happiness like this. However, no matter how much he had prepared himself, when he saw his precious granddaughter's tears, he threw them out of his mind. All that was left was his heartache and anxiety for her. Why are you crying? Did that little brat from the family bully you? Tell Grandpa and Grandpa will take you to settle the score with them. When Su Yiyen heard old Master Cheng's words, her nose became even more sour. She hugged old Master Cheng's hand tightly and choked out, No, he's very good to me. He didn't bully me. Old Master Cheng's face was full of disbelief. If he didn't bully you, then why are you crying like this? Don't be afraid. Grandpa is here. Grandpa is here. Tell Grandpa and Grandpa will help you. I really didn't. I just missed Grandpa too much. Now that I suddenly saw you, I couldn't help it. Missed me? Old Master Cheng was caught off guard by this sudden sugar-coated bullet. He stared at Su Yiyen for a long time. After making sure that she really didn't suffer any grievances, he snorted coldly and said angrily, "You missed me, but you didn't come back to see me. You didn't even tell me before you made the decision to change your marriage partner. From what I see, you don't even care about your grandfather at all." When Su Yiyan heard this, she hurriedly said, "How could I not care about Grandpa? It was just too sudden." That's right. Not to mention you, Dad, even the few of us who were there at that time were a little confused." When old Master Cheng heard his daughter's words, he immediately changed the topic and scolded, "Why are you in a daze? Yen is young and immature, but you adults are also immature? Just let her do whatever she wants." Yes. It's our fault. We didn't stop her and let her do whatever she wanted. It's all our fault. Judging from your tone, you think I've wronged you? Yen used to be so obedient when he was with me. But this time, such a big thing happened. It must be because you adults failed to live up to expectations and caused trouble for her. Who else can I blame if not you? Cheng Xiuqin. Sure enough, after having a granddaughter, his daughter had fallen out of favor. She really didn't want to take the blame for this. "Grandpa, don't blame my parents. I acted on my own accord. That day, something happened in the family and Mom and Dad were so angry that they lost their minds. And so did you? In a fit of pique, you chose that one. Grandpa." Su Yiyan suddenly raised her voice and interrupted him. "I don't like people mentioning that word. I know Grandpa has some prejudice against him because of me, but I hope Grandpa can love the house and its crow. Can you give him some respect?" Chapter 101. You haven't even interacted with him before, so how would you know? Su Yiyan met old Master Cheng's eyes and said seriously, "Compared to a healthy man who doesn't love me and only sees me as an accessory, I want a life partner who loves me, respects me, and puts me first in everything." Old Master Cheng felt that her words made sense, so he immediately reacted. "Why do you have to choose between the two of them? There are so many good men in this world. I don't believe that my granddaughter, who is so outstanding, can't find a healthy man who meets your requirements. There are so many good men in this world, but no one will treat me better than him. I only want him, and I don't want anyone else." Old Master Cheng was completely speechless. He wanted to get angry, but when he met the eyes that were almost identical to his late wife's, the anger in his belly seemed to have been splashed with a bucket of cold water. With a snort, it was extinguished. "Are you serious?" "Yes." Su Yiyan didn't back down. "I'm very serious, so serious that I can't be more serious." He couldn't hit her, but he couldn't bear to scold her. Old Master Cheng held it in for a long time, then turned his face away unhappily. When Su Yiyan saw his reaction, she immediately knew that she had passed most of his test. She quickly hugged his arm and said coquettishly, "Also, Grandpa, if you think about it this way, it's not completely bad for him. At least he can't beat me. If he really makes me angry, I can beat him down by myself. There's no need for you to stand up for me, is there? If he can't beat you, he naturally can't beat others. If he can't protect you, what's there to be proud of? He can't protect me, but I can protect him. If he can't beat me, then it's fine as long as I can, right? With my current skills, there shouldn't be many people who can beat me, right?" Old Master Cheng was speechless. What she said made sense, and he couldn't refute it. Old Master Cheng, who was completely choked, snorted coldly. He stood up with the help of his walking stick and shouted at Su Yuxuan to take him to his room, completely ignoring Su Yiyan. As soon as the old man left, the tense atmosphere in the hall finally eased. Qin Shueru, who was Su Yiyan's aunt, heaved a sigh of relief. Only then was she able to speak to Su Yiyan for the first time. "I'm afraid that you're the only one in our family who dares to speak to the old master like that." Su Yiyan couldn't help but laugh when she heard that. Grandpa only looks strict, but his heart is still very soft. Qin Shueru smiled and declined to comment. The old man was famous for his strictness, whether it was in their generation or the generation below. It was only in front of Su Yiyan that he would temporarily put away his coldness and reveal the last bit of softness in his heart. Even Qing Xiuqin, who was the most favored in the past, had to take a back seat in front of his granddaughter. This was due to the fact that Su Yiyan's temperament was very similar to the old man's when he was young. It was also due to the fact that Su Yiyan's face was very similar to her grandmother who passed away early. Qin Shueru wasn't dissatisfied with this. She and her husband had been childless for so many years, and she had long regarded the two children of the Su family, especially the youngest, Su Yiyan, as her own children. If their children could gain the favor of their elders, they would naturally be happy as well. When she thought of this, a trace of sadness flashed across Qin Shueru's eyes. Chapter 102. As expected, Qin Shueru's attention was diverted. She smiled faintly and said, "The old man is in a hurry to come over. There are still many things to do at home, so your uncle stayed behind first. He will come over in 2 days after arranging the follow-up matters." In 2 days? Su Yiyan pondered for a moment and suddenly asked, "Auntie, is your anemia better? The weather has been cold recently. Do your hands and feet often feel cold? Did you bring more clothes this time? If not, I'll ask my mom to prepare more for you later. Don't catch a cold." Cheng Xiuqin did not suspect anything and agreed, "Yes, yes, yes. Yan Yan is still the most thoughtful. The weather has been quite cold these few days. You must not have brought many clothes since you came early. I'll ask someone to send more thick clothes over later. If you need anything else, let me know. We're all family, so don't stand on ceremony." Qin Shueru was stunned when she heard Su Yiyan's words. She was a little surprised that Su Yiyan knew that she had been anemic recently. Her anemia started a month ago. At first, she only felt dizzy and could not lift her spirits to do anything. Later, not only did it turn into dizziness, but it was also accompanied by abdominal pain for no reason. She could not find anything even when she checked with the detector. Originally, she was depressed because she wanted to have a child. Her body was always so unwell, and her appetite was not very good. In less than half a month, her weight dropped by almost 5 kilograms. Her husband was scared out of his wits, so he thought of sending his wife out for a walk to adjust her mood. After Qin Shueru recovered from her surprise, she spontaneously found an excuse for Su Yiyan, thinking that her husband told her. She smiled and said, "I've been a little anemic recently. Maybe it's because I'm tired from running around with your uncle. It's hard for you to think about it. I'm fine, don't worry." Qin Shueru's words indirectly confirmed Su Yiyan's guess. She looked at her remaining favorability points in advance and sighed in relief. "It's rare for Grandpa and Aunt to come here. Tonight, let me personally cook dinner to welcome you." Qin Shueru was shocked. "Yan Yan can cook? Isn't that right?" When Cheng Xiuqin heard that Su Yiyan was going to cook for them personally, he said, "I don't know when this child learned these strange things, and she even hid them from us. If we hadn't seen her tinkering in the kitchen alone some time ago, we wouldn't have known. But fortunately, the food she cooks is not bad. It's just that she doesn't cook for us often. We've only eaten it once before. Tonight, thanks to you guys, we can at least try her cooking again." Cheng Xiuqin spoke in a plaintive tone, but Qin Shueru thought that she was giving herself a heads-up. She secretly decided that no matter how Su Yiyan's dishes tasted, she would pretend to like them very much. No matter what, she couldn't let down the child's good intentions. Su Yiyan did not know what Qin Shueru was thinking. He made a preview 2 hours in advance and posted the main content of today's live broadcast on the top of the live broadcast room. Su Yiyan had announced in her live broadcast the day before that the next live broadcast would not be scheduled, but once it was confirmed, it would be posted in the live broadcast room. At this time, there were still many viewers waiting in the live broadcast room regularly, waiting for her announcement. This time, the live broadcast preview really appeared, and they took a look at the content of the preview. Many people were stunned and went crazy. Chapter 103. At this time, the composition of Su Yiyan's fans was a bit complicated. There were gourmet fans, health fans, some patient fans who were recommended by their friends, and some anti-fans who saw her quickly become popular. There were also many local tycoons in the live broadcast room who were anti-fans. As soon as Su Yian's preview came out, the health fans and patient fans excitedly rushed to spread the news. The gourmet fans who were attracted by the spicy boiled fish and spicy crayfish were at a loss. Those jealous anti-fans seemed to have finally found Su Yian's weakness and began to chase after those excited true fans to mock and ridicule them. They said that Su Yian's live broadcast preview was sensationalism and was deliberately trying to attract people's attention. Su Yian was busy finalizing tonight's menu. She didn't have the energy to pay attention to those crazy people on the internet. Since the two of them arrived early, Su Yian didn't make much preparation in advance. She could only try to find medicinal cuisine recipes suitable for their physiques from some of the Chinese herbs she already had. Fortunately, when Xing Xiuqin talked to her about Qin Shueru, Su Yian had already consciously prepared the Chinese herbs suitable for her. Now, she just collected the first batch that matured, which was enough to come in handy. When Su Yian prepared the herbs and ingredients and opened the live broadcast room, she found that the audience in the live broadcast room had risen by another wave, and it was still increasing. In just a moment, it had reached 500,000. This figure had already surpassed the scope of a newcomer streamer on Munchkinnet. It could be considered a slightly famous and capable streamer. Su Yian blinked and said in a daze and surprise, "What happened? Did someone enter the wrong live broadcast room?" Hearing Su Yian's words, many of the audience in the live broadcast room turned on ha mode. Su Yian searched for a long time before she finally found a useful reply from the screen full of haha. It turned out that the spicy boiled fish and spicy crayfish that she made before were pushed to the public platform by Xia Yuningshi and others not long after she went offline. Although the recording screen was not as convenient as the live broadcast, where one could turn on the taste and smell simulator to taste it on the spot, the bright red dishes looked particularly appetizing. Coupled with the flattery from the live audience who had participated in the live broadcast, many people who had not watched the live broadcast could not help but drool at the recording screen. As soon as they heard that Su Yian had started a live broadcast, they immediately rushed over in groups. They were afraid that they would miss out on the delicacies that had been praised to the heavens. After figuring out the ins and outs of the matter, Su Yian breathed a sigh of relief. Yan glanced at the upper right corner, where the number of viewers had increased by nearly 100,000 in just a few minutes. His eyes flashed and he went straight to the point. "Hello, new viewers and old viewers who have watched my live streams. Welcome to Yan's Little Kitchen. I'm your host, Tian. There are elderly people at home today, so I have to make some dishes suitable for them." "Old man? Wasn't it supposed to be a medicinal cuisine that could increase a woman's fertility? How did he become an old man?" Although some of the audience members were doubtful, their words were still considered mild. However, the anti-fans were not so polite. They did not care how Su Yian would explain later and started to attack him in a sarcastic manner. Chapter 104. The anti-fans' words not only ridiculed Su Yian, but also stabbed the hearts of the female audience who loved children but could not conceive due to various physical reasons. They were holding on to a slim chance of survival and had entered the show with a knife in their hearts. Su Yian's face sank. She had been broadcasting for a few days, and occasionally saw one or two comments questioning her. However, it was the first time she had seen such harsh words. Su Yian was really angry this time. She said coldly, "Admin Ben." In fact, she didn't need to say anything. Huo Chenhuan had already started to investigate the IP ban. However, after she said that, there were immediately many comments scolding her for her bad temper and acting like a big shot. Looking at the rows of comments with the same tone, it was obvious that there was a mastermind behind the scenes. Unfortunately, these people didn't even have the chance to start the momentum before they were all banned by the admin. Su Yian looked at the screen that suddenly became much quieter, and her face became slightly better. "I know that most of the viewers who came to watch my broadcast are either here to watch the show or to try their luck with a doubtful heart. In this regard, I can only say that you can watch the show or not believe me. However, this is my broadcast and I welcome people who like me. As for those who don't like me and can't stand me, please consciously leave. Of course, I don't care if you want to stay and torture yourself. However, please shut your stinky mouth and don't say anything that makes me and my viewers uncomfortable. Otherwise, if you mess with me, I'll mess with you. I don't lack money, fame, or connections. Before you touch me, you should consider whether your ability and background can bear the consequences of my anger. I'll say the ugly words first. I'm a very hard-hearted person. Even if you're half dead and kneeling to beg me to let you go, I won't be soft-hearted and forgive you. Su Yan's words not only scared the trolls who were still restless after their accounts were banned, but also scared many viewers in the broadcast. A portion of the audience felt that Su Yan's words were too harsh and chose to leave. However, the majority of the audience still chose to stay. Su Yan didn't care about what these people thought. She wasn't someone who would let herself be wronged. If she couldn't stand it, she would fight back. She didn't start this live stream for fame or profit. She just wanted to accumulate a little bit of favorability. As for those who were prejudiced against her, how could she expect to gain favorability from them? Those who had a good impression of her and were grateful to her, such as the audience from her first live stream, would do their best to help her. As for these people who hadn't helped her at all and even wanted to mess with her, it was already good enough that she didn't get back at them. Did they expect her to greet them with a smile? She didn't owe them anything. If there's nothing else, let's return to the main topic. Su Yan's voice successfully drew the attention of the remaining viewers, and the comments on the screen instantly became denser. Su Yan looked at the much more harmonious bullet screen, and the corners of her lips curled up again. She continued the words that she didn't finish before. There's an elderly at home today, so I'm preparing some dishes that are suitable for the elderly stomach. Of course, there are also 1 or 2 soups and desserts that are more nourishing for girls. Chapter 105. As Su Yan spoke, he suddenly thought of something and said meaningfully, "As usual, the viewers who scolded the host in my live broadcast room will not participate in the lucky draw." At that time, the audience did not know that the rule set by Hu Chenhuan would make those who had scolded Su Yan break down. As long as one was human, they would not be able to escape from birth, old age, illness, and death. No one could guarantee whether their illness would come first or tomorrow. This was also the reason why no one dared to offend a doctor, no matter how rich or powerful they were. You could not guarantee that you would fall into his hands one day. By then, whether he saved you or not would be a matter of life and death. The remaining viewers did not think too much about it. They only knew that after the keyboard warriors who caused trouble were kicked out, their chances would be greater. This was really exciting news. However, when they looked up and saw that the number of viewers was still increasing, they felt as if they had been splashed with a bucket of cold water. It did not seem to increase by much. Considering that stewing soup would take more time, Su Yan took out 2 casseroles for stewing soup first. Today, we are going to stew 2 soups. The first soup is the one that you guys are more concerned about. It is abalone and ginseng soup that has a certain effect on premature ovarian failure in girls. As soon as Su Yan finished speaking, a lot of comments appeared on the screen asking, "What is premature ovarian failure?" Premature ovarian failure? It literally means that the ovaries decline early. The specific symptoms are abnormal menstrual cycle and reduced menstrual volume. Simply put, it is early amenorrhea or even menopause. Unable to ovulate normally, naturally, there is no way to conceive a child. As Su Yan spoke, he fished out a few fat and big abalones and cleaned them neatly. As soon as these abalones appeared, the audience in the live broadcast room felt the power of money. F***CK, I've seen this before. I saw it from afar when I accompanied the boss on a business trip. It is said that it is the signature dish of a high-class restaurant. There are only 5 servings a day, and the ingredients alone are worth at least 6 digits. Moreover, there was only 1 small abalone in the plate at that time. It was definitely not as big as this one. Actually, I wanted to say this before. Most of the ingredients used in the live broadcast room look better than those sold in the market. Everyone should know how expensive natural ingredients are on the market. To be able to buy such high-quality ingredients, the price. I noticed it during the last live stream. Let's not talk about other natural ingredients. Let's talk about seafood. Although it tasted bad if it wasn't processed properly, the market price was really high. The big grass carp and crayfish that the streamer used in the last live broadcast, the poor me hugged my cheap nutrient solution tightly. To be able to casually take out so many expensive ingredients for a live broadcast, what the streamer said just now might not be a bluff. Her family might really have a mine and not be short of money. When Su Yiyen finished processing the abalones, he saw these comments as soon as he looked up. Even through the screen, she could feel that these people were looking at the abalone in her hand like it was a piece of gold. Su Yiyen was amused by her own idea. She put the washed abalone and the lean meat into the clay pot, and then added the wolfberries. Finally, he took out a huge ginseng that he had spent a huge sum of money to exchange for. Chapter 106. What's this? It looks white and plump, like a radish, but it has whiskers. Radishes don't seem to have whiskers. You're wrong. Radishes actually have whiskers, but they're removed after being pulled out. Don't ask me how I know. I helped a friend pull out radishes a few years ago. You're making up stories? So this is a radish? Radish stewed with abalone? I feel like something's wrong. Su Yiyen's mouth twitched when he saw that the audience in the live stream had almost completely identified the thing in his hand as a radish. He took a deep breath and said, "This isn't a radish, it's ginseng." Ginseng is a very useful Chinese herb. Every part of its body can be used as medicine, and the medicinal effects are different. Today, we need to use this part of its meat. Su Yiyen pointed at the round white meat that was mistaken for a radish. Because ginseng has a strong medicinal effect, it has a bitter taste. Usually, only a little bit will do. Su Yiyen put the huge ginseng aside as he spoke. He took out the slices of ginseng that he had cut earlier and put them into the pot. Alright, let's just let it stew for now. Next, we'll make the second soup, lotus seed and date stewed duck soup. Those who watched my live stream before should know what I'm talking about. Those who don't know, go back and watch the recorded broadcast. Now, let's talk about the lotus seeds. Su Yiyen poured out a bowl of fresh and white lotus seeds. He broke them open and took out the lotus core as he said, "These are lotus seeds. They were peeled from the lotus seed pod, and they smell very fragrant. Lotus seeds are good for qi and have the effect of stabilizing the spirit and calming the mind. Eating them will not only nourish the spleen and stomach, but also reduce internal heat and help sleep. Old people don't get enough sleep, so eating them is very useful for sleep. But you have to take note that there's a heart in the middle of the lotus seed, which is this small green strip. This heart is bitter. Friends who seek a good texture can peel it off. Don't throw it away after you peel it off. Dry it and use it to make tea to reduce internal heat." After saying so much, we don't even know where to buy this stuff, let alone eat it. You found a point. I just went to the shopping site to search for ginseng and lotus seeds, but there's nothing. It's not just ginseng and lotus seeds. The red dates, seahorses, and a series of so-called medicinal herbs that the host used before are not sold on the internet QAQ. That's right. If you have the guts to introduce them, then tell us where to buy them. Woof, cry out loud. Su Yiyen was stunned when he saw these complaints. He stopped what he was doing and muttered to himself. Just when the audience in the live stream thought that she had finally been persuaded and was ready to announce the source of these medicinal herbs and advertise for the audience to buy them, Lin Yiqian suddenly changed her mind. That slender and fair hand suddenly grabbed a lotus seed that had lost its core and moved upwards, leaving the range of the live broadcast room. Then, the host's soft chewing sounds and sighs of enjoyment could be heard. It's sweet and refreshing. It's quite delicious. The audience? Without waiting for the audience to come back to their senses, Su Yiyen's hand once again reached for the plate of lotus seeds. After eating a few of them, his evil claws reached for the bowl of jujubes next to him. Only then did the audience realize that this unscrupulous streamer was actually eating the ingredients in front of them. Chapter 107. However, after Su Yien's ruckus, the viewers in the live stream finally realized that the tender lotus seeds and red dates could be eaten raw. The crowd no longer cared about the issue of the purchase of the ingredients. They scrambled to try the 2 ingredients. Oh, these red dates taste sweet. It's great as a snack. I can't stop eating them one by one. I prefer this white lotus seed. It's especially refreshing. It's not greasy at all. Some people were even curious and secretly tasted the leftover ginseng slices. This ginseng is really bitter. I almost spat it out when I first ate it. However, after a while, I realized that the bitterness gradually disappeared and became a little sweet. It's a very special taste. Suddenly, the viewers changed the topic and began to discuss the taste of the ingredients and their own tastes. They had temporarily forgotten their previous doubts. Su Yian saw that their attention had been diverted, so she did not do something as infuriating as eating the ingredients. She put all the ingredients into the pot, added some water, and started to cook. At the beginning of the live stream, Su Yian said that there were elderly people in the house, so they should be prioritized when cooking. Su Yian studied for a long time and finally decided on 4 dishes and a porridge. They were garlic roasted eel, tomato fried cauliflower, celery braised tofu, orange peel beef, and millet pumpkin porridge. Although she did not use the Chinese herbs she had on hand, garlic, eel, tomatoes, celery, tofu, and beef were more suitable for the elderly stomach and could be eaten more. The viewers in the live stream were very happy to see Su Yian cook so many dishes at once. Most importantly, they could find the ingredients for these dishes. Even if they could not get their hands on them in the lottery, they could buy them and try them out at home. The only thing that was a little lost was the orange peel beef. There were oranges in this era, but most people's impression of oranges was very simple. They felt that it was a fruit. The flesh of the fruit could be eaten, but the outer skin was naturally useless and needed to be thrown away. Orange peel is the finished product of the outer skin of the orange after being dried. It's sweet and sour with a bit of bitterness. It's a good choice to make tea or stew. It's appetizing and can help with digestion. As soon as Su Yian said that, the audience immediately went wild with joy. So, orange peels can be eaten? I feel like I've missed out on 100 million. Yes. Previously, when I ate the oranges, I ate the meat and threw away the skin. Now that I think about it, my heart hurts. I don't care anymore. I'm going to buy a caddy of oranges now. I'll peel them and dry them. How can 1 caddy be enough? I'll go buy 3 caddies. I've already placed an order for 5 kilograms. It'll be here soon. Great. I'm in awe of the nouveau riche above. Buying 5 kilograms of tangerines is like buying 10 bottles of nutrient solution. I'm so envious and jealous. At this time, Su Yian still did not know that because of his words, he had indirectly increased the sales of oranges in the market. Not long after that, there was a strange phenomenon of a shortage of oranges in the market. Compared to the time-consuming process of stewing soup, stir-frying vegetables was much faster. By the time Su Yian finished cooking the other 4 dishes and the porridge, the first 2 types of soup were almost ready. Chapter 108. The audience, who had been mesmerized by the table full of hot dishes and had turned on the taste simulator to try the finished product without Su Yian's instructions, were quickly attracted by the transparent fungus in Su Yian's hand. Host, what's this? Why is it transparent? Can it be eaten? How can the host's food be inedible? This thing looks quite springy. It should taste good. Su Yian was amused by the group of foodies' tireless thirst for knowledge. This is tremella, a type of fungus. It's rich in protein, various amino acids, and minerals. Eating more of it can not only beautify and nourish one's skin, strengthen one's immune system, and prolong one's life. Beautifying and nourishing one's skin and prolong one's life were enough to capture the hearts of many girls and elders at home. Once people got older, they would find that no amount of money could fight against the invasion of time. At this time, health became a knot in many people's hearts. It made people subconsciously start to take care of their health, striving to live longer and suffer less from the pain of illness. Su Yen first soaked the tremella to remove the stalk, then boiled it for a while with milk. After it was cooked, he put it aside to cool it down. After that, he took out kiwis, cherry tomatoes, and other fruits and cut them into small pieces for later use. Seeing these fruits, the audience in the live broadcast room became jealous again, shedding tears of poverty. By the time the 2 pots of soup were ready, the milk was almost cold. When the fruit pieces were put in, the red and green colors were very beautiful, immediately hitting the hearts of many girls. This dessert looks really beautiful. I can't bear to eat it. I can't bear to eat it either. When I think of how many kinds of fruits are put in it, I feel like I'm eating RMB. My heart hurts. Since you all don't want to eat it, I'll be polite. Oh, it's soft and fragrant, and there are sweet fruits. To have such a small sweet soup after a meal, I'll be as happy as a fairy. In the face of delicious food, many people would say they didn't want it, but their bodies were honest. Especially since they were just testing the taste simulator. Even if they ate it, it wouldn't affect the food in the real world. They would be fools if they didn't take advantage of such a great opportunity. It was almost 6 o'clock when the tremella sweet soup was finished. In order to save time, Su Yen only prepared 1 round of lucky draws. 8 people would be chosen at once, and each person would be given a dish. Su Yen emphasized to the lucky audience who drew the abalone ginseng soup. This soup is more effective for patients with premature ovarian failure with both yin and yang. If there's someone around you who fits this condition, you can let her try it. Upon hearing Su's words, that person immediately asked curiously, "What's a patient with premature ovarian syndrome?" It's just that I'm lacking in both qi and blood. It might be a little hard to understand if I put it this way. In short, it's people. Calm. Of them was calm. Huo Chenwan's account was very lucky to draw a lotus seed and date duck soup. Su Yiyen knew that the soup was good for him, but when he thought of how this person deliberately pretended to be a cute girl in front of him, he couldn't help but want to tease him. Chapter 109. On the other end of the phone, Huo Chenhuan frowned when he saw the message. He immediately recalled the fear he felt when Su Yiyen's first livestream was dominated by the word old people. Mountain Su, only old people can drink it? Can't young people drink it? Su Yiyen could feel someone's sadness through the screen. He burst out laughing. Yen, of course, you got the soup from the lucky draw. You can drink it however you like. Goodly. JPG, Huo Chenwan's expression became better. He waited for his spoils of war with satisfaction. Gu Xiaoyang stood behind him and watched their conversation. His eyebrows twitched. He coughed softly and asked tentatively, "Young master, are you always so cold when you talk to Miss Su?" Cold? Huo Chenwan's eyes were slightly cold. He turned to look at him in confusion. Gu Xiaoyang's forehead was covered in cold sweat, but he still explained under great pressure, "Yes, you are now a viewer of Miss Su's livestream. You are someone who likes her. Isn't it too cold to talk to her in such a tone? Miss Su may feel that you are not easy to get along with. Over time, she may not take the initiative to message you like this." Huo Chenwan's expression changed slightly. He frowned and said, "How can I make people feel that I am not cold? How do ordinary fans talk to the people they like?" Gu Xiaoyang pondered for a moment and gave a reasonable answer, "Flattery." Flattery? Flattery means that they use all kinds of compliments to praise their idols. Huo Chenwan's eyes lit up. He felt that this was a good idea. Where can I find flattery from these fans? What's so difficult about that? Let me find it. Gu Xiaoyang said and began to search for famous flattery on the internet. After a few minutes, he finally found a more reliable guide. Huo Chenhuan clicked on the post and was almost blinded by the flattery on the screen. Beginner flattery. Does such beauty really exist? I can lick this face for the rest of my life. Go, baby, you're the best. From today onwards, you're the prettiest kid on this street. Did you grow up eating cornetto? What kind of peerless cutie is this? Middle-level rainbow fart. There are sparks in your eyes. It ignited a fire in my heart, making me unable to forget you for the rest of my life. The moment I saw you, Cupid's arrow pierced my heart. From then on, I deeply realized that I was in love. 10,000 miles of mountains and rivers can't compare to your smile. Mountains and rivers can't compare to your tear. Advanced rainbow fart. Your eyes are as deep as the universe, with thousands of galaxies in them. Your nose is as tall and straight as a towering mountain, and the curves of the mountains are leisurely. Your lips are as bright as a midnight rose, graceful and passionate. You're so pure and unpretentious. You're straightforward and serious, yet you're so flirtatious and charming that people can't take their eyes off you. However, what I love most is your heart of gold, precious, soft, and untainted by dust. It starts with your appearance and is loyal to your character. Baby, fly bravely, XXX will always be with you. Hu Chenhuan was speechless. Was he going to talk to his wife in such an exaggerated tone in the future? Chapter 110. Su Yayan still did not know that her fiancé had accidentally been led into a ditch and opened the door to a new world. After the live broadcast ended and the prizes were given out, she hurriedly brought the dishes out. Old Master Cheng went upstairs to catch up on his sleep. When he woke up, he heard Cheng Xiuqin say that his precious granddaughter was going to cook for him personally tonight. He looked calm on the surface, but he was overjoyed on the inside. He went downstairs half an hour earlier to wait for the food. Cheng Xiuqin and the rest saw it but didn't expose him. They waited quietly with him. Not long after, the aroma of cooking dishes wafted from the kitchen. Mr. Su and the rest who had tasted Su Yan's cooking earlier had their eyes lit up. Their hands didn't stop moving, but their eyes and hearts had long been hooked by the tempting aroma. Qin Shueru, who hadn't tasted Su Yan's cooking, wasn't as calm as them. She had thought that Su Yiyan was just being polite when she said that she wanted to cook personally. But now that she smelled the aroma, she couldn't sit still. The one cooking in the kitchen now is Yan Yan? Cheng Xiuqin was all smiles, and even his tone had a hint of smugness. Who else can it be if not her? When did Yan Yan learn to cook like this? When Jun Hao and I came here previously, we also ate your Aunt Li's cooking. It didn't seem to be as fragrant as her cooking. I'm not sure either. She said that she read books with Aunt Li and thought about it in her free time. She's grown up and has her own opinions. She doesn't like to tell us anything now. If it wasn't for the fact that she said that she wanted to help that person nourish his body, we wouldn't have known that she had studied this in private. Cheng Xiuqin's words had a subtle hint of jealousy. Qin Shueru blinked and probed. That person? Are you referring to Yan Yan's fiancé? Is he not in good health? Other than his legs, he should be fine. It's just that he's busy with work and doesn't have a good appetite after staying up too much. This girl is so nervous that she stews soup and makes tonics. From the looks of it, their relationship is pretty good. At least Yan Yan really likes him. What about him? Are you good to Yan Yan? It looks good now, but I'm afraid that in the future. Let's talk about the future in the future. Since both of you are in love with each other, let's see how things go first. If he dares to mistreat Yan Yan after we get married, we won't agree to it either, right? You and brother-in-law are still young. No matter what, you can still protect Yan Yan for a few more decades. If not, there's still Jun Hao and I and Yushuan. We won't let Yan Yan suffer. Cheng Xiuqin nodded. Only then did she feel a little relieved. While the two of them were talking, the aroma coming out of the kitchen became stronger. At first, Su Yushuan and the others could still pretend that nothing was wrong and sit in the living room to watch TV, read newspapers, and read books. Later, they really couldn't take it anymore and began to walk in circles impatiently. Old Master Cheng was a little annoyed by Su Yushuan's circling. He knocked his walking stick on the ground and scolded with a dark face. How old are you? You're still so impatient. No wonder you still can't find a wife. You can't find a wife, Yuxuan. He was a single dog. Who had he offended? Qin Shueru laughed and tried to smooth things over. Yuxuan is hungry, right? Young people get hungry quickly. Old Master Cheng snorted. What's wrong with young people being hungry? In the end, he's still not mature enough. As soon as he finished speaking, his stomach growled loudly. It was so loud that it was difficult to ignore it. Everyone. Chapter 111. The empty hall suddenly fell into a dead silence, and the atmosphere instantly became extremely awkward. Just as Su Yuxuan was hesitating about whether to break the silence and give the old man a way out, a tempting aroma of rice wafted out from the kitchen. A certain someone's stomach growled again, louder and more hurried than before. Everyone, Grandpa Cheng. Do I not care about my reputation? Ahem. In the end, it was Su Yuxuan's father who was smart enough to break the silence. He gave Su Yuxuan a look and said, Yuxuan, go tell Yayan to hurry up. She's been dawdling for so long. If she drags on any longer, it'll be time for supper. Su Yuxuan understood and turned to walk to the kitchen. The others did not mention what had just happened. Grandpa Cheng, on the other hand, was embarrassed. He snorted coldly, turned his face away awkwardly, and did not say anything else. However, the corner of his eyes that unconsciously glanced at the kitchen betrayed him in the end. Cheng Xiuqin and the others knew his temperament. They held back their laughter and did not expose him at this time. Su Yuxuan had just walked to the kitchen door when he bumped into Su Yiyan, who was walking out with dishes. His eyes lit up immediately. Is everything done? Su Yiyan was also stunned when she saw him. It's done. Why you here? Isn't it because your dishes are too fragrant? Our cravings have been aroused. Grandpa and the others are also hungry, so I came to ask if it's done. If it's not done well, we'll all starve to death. You're exaggerating. Su Yiyan was amused by him. Okay, I cooked a lot at night, so it took a little longer. There are still a few dishes inside. Before Su Yiyan could finish, he was interrupted. I'll do it. You go out first and I'll carry the rest. Su Yiyan saw that her brother was overly enthusiastic, so she did not refuse. She took the 2 dishes in her hands and stepped out first. It's time to eat. At Su Yiyan's command, several people immediately put down the newspapers, books, and remote controls in their hands and sat down at the dining table as fast as they could. The way they looked at the food was like a hungry wolf that had not eaten for a few days. This bowl of porridge is specially prepared for Grandpa. The millet nourishes the stomach and the pumpkin detoxifies the toxins. It's good for Grandpa to eat some at night. Su Yiyan took the millet pumpkin porridge from Su Yuxuan and pushed it to the old man with a faint smile. Old Master Cheng looked at the pumpkin porridge that was unique to him and raised his eyebrows slightly, revealing a hint of pride. It was as if he was saying, Look, in my precious granddaughter's heart, I am indeed the most special one. All of you juniors have to step aside. Cheng Xiuqin and the others were indeed a little jealous when they heard that. However, the old master was an elder after all, and they did not want to argue with him. The dishes were served one after another. There were 4 dishes, 2 soups, and a sweet soup after dinner. It was a little too little for 6 people. Fortunately, although there were not many dishes, the portions were not small. The few people ate to their heart's content, especially old Master Cheng. This tomato is quite delicious. It's sweet and sour. It's very appetizing. Su Yiyan smiled. Tomatoes are rich in vitamins. They can lower blood pressure and fat, and they can prevent cancer and stroke. It's just right for Grandpa's current physique. If Grandpa likes it, eat more. I'll make more for you next time. Chapter 112. When Cheng Xiuqin heard what the 2 of them said, he agreed. The tomatoes are indeed good, but I prefer this celery tofu. The celery is crispy and fragrant, and the tofu is soft and tender. The texture is very good. Su Yiyen knew what her mother wanted to hear. Her eyes curved slightly, and she readily said, "Tofu can ventilate. Mom, your digestion hasn't been good recently, so it's just right for you to eat this." Cheng Xiuqin's eyes lit up, and he nodded in satisfaction. "Then I'll have to eat more." Mr. Su didn't want to be left behind. He added, "I like to eat beef. Usually, Auntie Lee's beef is a little dry. This time, the beef is quite tender, and it has a strange sweetness. It's not greasy at all. That's because she added orange peel. The sweet and sour taste of orange peel can relieve grease. I know that you don't like to eat beef that's too dry, so this beef isn't fried for too long. Most of it is cooked until 60 to 70% done." When Mr. Su heard what his daughter said, a little red heart floated in his heart. Why else would people say that his daughter was a caring little jacket? She even knew that he didn't like to eat beef that was too dry. This attentiveness was enough to move this unyielding and inarticulate family head to the point that he was in a complete mess. Compared to his warm little jacket, this son of his was especially annoying. He despised him and wanted to throw him away. Su Yuxuan, who had been shot while doing nothing, received his father's death glare. He was weak, helpless, and pitiful. He mumbled, "I like fish. I want to eat fish. I want to eat fish." When Cheng Xiuqin heard what he said, he didn't think much of it. He subconsciously added, "It's pretty good. Eat more to nourish your brain." "This is too much. Don't think that I can't tell that you're mocking my brain. I'm a dignified top student. Why should I be humiliated like this? I refuse to accept this." Poor young Master Su. Today was also a day where he was despised by his family. After tasting a few dishes, everyone was about 70% to 80% full. They turned their attention to the 2 pots of soup. Mr. Su loved seafood. When he saw the small pot of abalone and ginseng soup, he didn't think much about it. He picked up the ladle and prepared to drink it. When Su Yiyen looked up, he happened to see this scene. He hurriedly stopped him and said, "Dad, this soup is for Aunt. If you want to drink it from Grandpa's pot." This shout attracted everyone's attention. Qin Shueru blinked her eyes and her face was also filled with astonishment. "For me?" Cheng Xiuqin also asked, "This soup, can't we drink it?" "It's fine if you really want to drink it, but don't blame me if you can't help but give birth to a younger brother or sister." "What? This is..." The few people present were frightened by Su Yiyen's words. They thought that the soup had some unspeakable effect. Their gazes towards Su Yiyen became thought-provoking. "What are you guys thinking? I'm just nourishing my body." Su Yiyen helplessly rolled his eyes. Strictly speaking, it did have that effect, but Aunt's body is quite weak. She needs to recuperate and recover to normal. As for the 2 of you, your bodies are fine to begin with. If you drink this soup, won't something happen if you overheat? When he said this, the few of them were a little embarrassed, especially Qin Shueru. Chapter 113. As if she could read Qin Shueru's mind, Su Yiyen took the initiative to get a bowl of soup for her. She teased, "Aunt, don't worry. I made this especially for you. Uncle isn't here, so I'll be careful not to let you overnourish your body." Qin Shueru's cheeks burned, but she couldn't help but have a glimmer of hope. "Yen, this can really nourish. It's just nourishing your body and improving your body's condition. There's no harm in drinking it, right?" Su Yiyen knew what Qin Shueru wanted to ask. Although the soup was somewhat effective, nothing was absolute. She didn't want to give her hope and disappoint her, so she could only do her best to nourish her body. Qin Shueru realized that she had lost her composure after asking, but when she heard Su Yiyen's words, she couldn't help but feel a little disappointed. That's right. How could they force an ordinary girl to do something that even the doctors couldn't solve? She was the one who was crazy. The others also knew the knot in her heart, so they didn't know what to say. Su Yiyen saw that Qin Shueru was disappointed, but she still obediently drank the soup. She heaved a sigh of relief and turned to get soup for the others. This lotus seed and date duck soup is best for reducing internal heat and helping you sleep. Drink a bowl and have a good night's sleep. Especially grandfather, You must have rushed over without much rest today. You must have a good night's sleep. It's best if you can sleep until noon tomorrow. Old Master Cheng was old and didn't sleep much. Usually, he couldn't sleep even if he wanted to. When he heard Su Yian's words, he laughed and said, "All right, grandfather will see if I can sleep until noon tomorrow after drinking this soup." After saying that, he picked up the soup and drank a few mouthfuls. The warm soup slid all the way into his stomach and spread to his limbs and bones. It was already a little cold at the end of autumn, so to be able to drink a mouthful of hot soup was definitely enjoyable. After Old Master Cheng drank a bowl of soup, he felt his entire body heat up and his mood improve. However, not long after, he seemed to have thought of something. His face darkened and he snorted. "Don't think that just because you cooked such a big table of dishes to please grandfather, I won't care about you and that brat with the family hua. Then what can we do to appease your anger and accept us?" Su Yian used instead of him. It was clear that he had made up his mind that it had to be him. Old Master Cheng was both angry and curious about this man who could make his granddaughter so devoted to him. "Ask him out tomorrow and we'll talk about it. He said he's going to get married. I haven't even seen his face before. What's going on?" Yes. I'll contact him in a while and have him prepare for your inspection at any time." "That's more like it." After dinner, Su Yiyan accompanied Qin Shueru and Cheng Xiuqin to drink the white fungus sweet soup. The fruit soaked in the milk was infused with the fragrance of milk, which made it more fragrant and delicious. Coupled with the crisp white fungus, it instantly captured the hearts of the two adults. The men were a little greedy, but they didn't particularly like sweets, and they were really full now. It wasn't good to fight with the girls, so they didn't have much of an opinion. After dinner, Mr. Su and the others still had something to do. Old Master Cheng and Qin Shueru were also a little tired, so they went upstairs first. Su Yian saw that they had left and hurried back to her room. As soon as she closed the door, a familiar notification sounded in her mind. Chapter 114. Su Yian suppressed the excitement in her heart and replied excitedly, "Yes. Congratulations to the host for reaching level 3. The upgrade package has been sent to the host's mailbox. Please check it." In addition, the progress bar for snatching the original female protagonist's Goldfinger has been added. Please continue to work hard and strive to obtain the fate of the world as soon as possible to change your destiny. Goldfinger progress bar? Su Yiyan was stunned for a moment. Only then did she realize that there was now a light green progress bar under the store panel that had been used to redeem seeds. And this progress bar was now at 5%? 5% means that I've already snatched more of the Goldfinger that originally belonged to Wen Jingping? Yes. However, she had not seen Wen Jingping in person since her rebirth. Is it because of my live stream? Su Yian's eyes flashed slightly. Sure enough, choosing to live stream on the same platform as Wen Jingping was the right choice. Live streams are part of the reason. Only part of the reason? Does that mean there are other reasons? Su Yian narrowed her eyes. Could it be because of Hua Xiaofeng? The fate of the male and female protagonists is mutual. If something happens to the male protagonist, the female protagonist will also be affected. The system has detected that the male protagonist's favorability towards the female protagonist has decreased due to his injury. The male protagonist's family's favorability towards the female protagonist is also decreasing. This news surprised Su Yian. Hua Xiaofeng had been beaten up by her. Shouldn't Wen Jingping be by his side at this time to increase the favorability of Hua Xiaofeng and his parents? Why did her favorability drop instead? However, speaking of this, although Hua Xiaofeng was badly injured that day, at least he did not hit his head. He should have been sober enough to point out that she was the main culprit. However, after so long, he and his family did not come to her door to ask for an explanation. Su Yiyan did not think that the family was so forgiving that they would not say anything even after being beaten up. The only possibility was that he had been stopped by someone. There was no doubt as to who this person was. Su Yiyan pursed her lips. She wanted to find a way to treat Hua Qinhuan's leg as soon as possible. She couldn't care less about the progress bar. She couldn't wait to open the familiar upgrade gift pack. Su Yan stared at the spinning circle and subconsciously held her breath. She was afraid that the thing inside would disappear in the blink of an eye. Finally, there was a burst of light, and the system prompt sounded in his ears. Congratulations, host, for obtaining the Encyclopedia of Acupuncture and Moxibustion. It comes with a complete set of acupuncture needles from ancient Earth. It has been sent to your mailbox. Acupuncture. Su Yan exclaimed and immediately opened her mailbox. In the next second, a small white bag appeared in her hand. As soon as it was opened, rows of silver needles of various sizes came into view, causing one to gasp in amazement. At the same time, the system notification sounded again, bringing Su Yan another piece of good news. Congratulations, host, for obtaining conviction +8. It has been detected that host's total conviction has reached 20. The auxiliary function of acupuncture and moxibustion is automatically activated. Acupoint structure diagram. Host can use it together with Wang to get twice the result with half the effort. Su Yan tightened her grip on the bag. She was in a state of excitement. With this, could she start to treat that person's leg? Su Yan, who was overwhelmed by excitement, immediately sent a video call invitation to Huo Chenhuan. Chapter 115. Huo Chenhuan was quite happy to receive Su Yan's video call invitation, but when he heard her crying, his face sank. What's wrong? Who bullied you? Then he remembered that Su Yan had said that she wanted to go home to see her grandfather before they parted ways. Huo Chenhuan's heart couldn't help but skip a beat. He probed, "Did your grandfather say something to you? Because of me?" When Su Yan saw that Huo Chenhuan had misunderstood, she hurriedly shook her head. "My grandfather isn't as strict as you think. He just said that he wanted to find time to meet you. I'm fine. I'm just a little agitated." Agitated? Su Yan opened her mouth, wanting to say something, but suddenly stopped. She took a deep breath and said cheerfully, "Yes. Although I was mentally prepared before this, I knew that even if they didn't agree to our relationship, they would definitely persist until the end. But when I saw that they understood me unconditionally and supported me, I realized that I didn't care as much as I thought. Especially my grandfather. When I was young, my parents didn't have time to take care of me. Grandfather practically raised me single-handedly. Now that I can get his understanding and support, I feel a lot more relaxed. I'm very happy." Su Yan's words weren't false, but Huo Chenhuan still felt that there was something fishy about it. However, he didn't harp on it and insist on getting to the bottom of it. Just like when he learned from Su Yan's father that she already knew that he had liked her for many years. Even though he was extremely curious about how Su Yan knew this, he still forced himself to remain silent. He didn't want Su Yan to think that he was too overbearing, too autocratic, and didn't want to give her any privacy. "They're very good to you. It's normal for you to care about what they think." Huo Chenhuan paused. "I'm sorry. I've made things difficult for you. What nonsense are you saying? This is my choice. Besides, what's there to make things difficult for? I don't think choosing you is a difficult thing for me. Do you have so little confidence in yourself?" Huo Chenhuan stared into Su Yan's eyes without saying a word. Su Yan, on the other hand, read a lot of things from it. She subconsciously said the words that were hidden in her heart. "Chenhuan, I mean, if there is a way to cure your leg, do you mind?" "What?" Huo Chenhuan's focus was obviously a little off. He faintly stared at Su Yan and said word by word, "Do you mind my leg being like this?" Su Yan was stunned. She felt helpless and distressed. "I don't mind. No matter what you become, as long as you're still Huo Chenhuan, I don't mind. However, you seem to have misunderstood. What I mean is, if there really is a way to cure your leg, are you willing to try it?" Huo Chenhuan clearly saw the expectation in Su Yan's eyes. His heart trembled slightly and he said hoarsely, "I'm willing." If possible, who would be willing to be a cripple who even needed to rely on external help to travel? Hearing these 3 words, Su Yan's eyes immediately turned red. I will definitely cure you. I will. I promise. Hua Chenhuan was stunned. Then, the corners of his mouth lifted into a gentle arc. He softly replied, okay. Su Yiyen was amused by his attitude of coaxing a child. She said in annoyance and amusement, you don't even know what I'm going to do. Chapter 116. Su Yiyen understood what he was implying. Instead of being comforted, she became angrier. How dare he look down on her? After she cured him, she would definitely take revenge on him for looking down on her and doubting her today. Hua Chenhuan had no idea that his stingy fiancé had already marked him down. He took the initiative to change the topic. You just said that your grandfather wants to see me? Yes, but he didn't say when he wants to see you. Do you have time recently? Hua Chenhuan was about to say that he was free anytime, but he suddenly paused and said apologetically, I have something to deal with tomorrow, but I should be free the day after tomorrow. It's okay, there's no rush for now. You do your thing first. I'll talk to grandfather. Su Yiyen seemed to have thought of something and asked tentatively, are you afraid of injections? Injections? Hua Chenhuan was a little confused. Yes, Su Yiyen tried to gesture with her hand. It's about this long and it's about this long. Hua Chenhuan was silent for a while after reading it. He said with some difficulty, I'm not afraid. Su Yiyen. Your expression doesn't say that. No, you're a mature man in your 20s, but you're actually like a child. Afraid of injections? Su Yiyen really misunderstood this matter. Hua Chenhuan wasn't afraid of injections, but he was afraid of the needle she was gesturing. It was such a long needle, wouldn't it kill him? So, this was really a beautiful misunderstanding. After hanging up, Su Yien's heart calmed down a little. Her eyes flashed as she looked at the newly released Encyclopedia of Acupuncture and the structure of human acupuncture points. Although she really wanted to start treating Hua Chenhuan right away, his leg needed to be accompanied by medicinal cuisine, medicinal baths, acupuncture, and even massage. Before that, she had to earn some favorability points to exchange for various kinds of Chinese medicine seeds, so that it would be convenient for her to use the medicinal cuisine and medicinal baths later. Secondly, it was her first time doing acupuncture. Would such a long and thin needle go astray? Would it hurt or bleed if the needle was crooked? When she thought of this, Su Yiyen did not have the courage to stick the needle into Hua Chenhuan's body. At least she had to wait until she was familiar with it. But before that, Su Yiyen narrowed his eyes and took out some mature Chinese herbs from the system warehouse. He got up and walked to the old man's room. Old Master Cheng had just finished reading and was about to rest when someone knocked on the door. As soon as he opened the door, he saw his granddaughter. His eyes lit up and he smiled. Why are you here? Grandfather, are you going to rest? I have something to discuss with you. What is it? About the things we ate tonight. The next morning, when Su Yiyen went downstairs, the old man was already strolling in the courtyard. When she saw Su Yiyen coming down, she snorted unhappily and turned around to water the flowers. The beautiful dahlia became muddy and could drown at any time. Su Yiyen was dumbfounded. She turned to look at her mother and asked curiously, What's wrong with grandfather? Didn't they have a good discussion last night? Why was he unhappy again after one night? Cheng Xiuqin looked at her with condemnation and sighed. Isn't it because of you? Because of me. Chapter 117. At first, old Master Cheng ignored Dun Dun, but after spending some time with it, his attitude towards it changed completely. Now, he liked to follow it everywhere. Su Yiyen would always bring Dun Dun home during winter and summer vacations. Every time he brought it home, old Master Cheng would help him take care of it. Occasionally, when old Master Cheng came over to play, he would always take it out for a walk. Yesterday, he must have been so angry that he didn't think about it. Today, when he calmed down, he began to look for the dog, only to find that his beloved dog had been given away. Old Master Cheng was angry all morning. He was even more dissatisfied with the Hua family's youngest uncle who stole his granddaughter and his beloved dog. The impression he had worked so hard to build up fell to rock bottom again. Su Yiyan realized that he had accidentally caused Hua Chenhuan trouble again. "Dear, I really didn't do it on purpose." At that time, Hua Chenhuan, who was busy confirming the progress of the plan with a few of his trusted aides, suddenly felt a chill run down his spine. Zui Yanbai immediately noticed his strange behavior and asked with concern, "Young master, the wind is strong at the beach. Do you feel cold? Do you want me to bring you a blanket?" "No need." The chill left as quickly as it came, so Hua Chenhuan didn't take it to heart. "Are the flowers ready?" "They're all ready. They're all Miss Su's favorite flowers, the prettiest ones. In addition, the greenhouse at the old mansion has been changed. I promise that it will all be done before Miss Su marries here." Yu Zian couldn't help but wipe away his bitter tears. It was as if he had suddenly returned to the fear of being dominated by farming. After all, he had planted all the flowers in the old mansion's garden with his own hands. With his own hands? Hua Chenhuan didn't receive Yu Zian's angry brainwaves. At that moment, he was thinking about the proposal ring that hadn't been made yet, and the proposal plan that was almost ready. Everything was going well. Hua Chenhuan was in a good mood as she plucked off a blue rose and placed it on Dundon's head. The big pink bough was forcefully pushed to the side. As the sea breeze blew, the poor little girl was instantly blown silly by her fluttering pink princess dress. After Su Yiyan figured out why the old man was unhappy, she was about to go and coax the old man, but she was stopped by Cheng Xiuqin. Cheng Xiuqin held Su Yian's hand tightly and said awkwardly, "Yin Yin, Mom has something to tell you." "What is it?" "I don't know where Hua Chihan's family heard the news. They called me and your father this morning and said that they would personally come to apologize." Su Yian's eyes turned cold. Without thinking, she asked, "Is it because of grandfather?" Cheng Xiuqin was shocked. "How did you know?" When the Su family and the Hua family decided to unite by marriage, the Su family's conditions were actually slightly worse than the Hua family's. However, Hua Chihan's family was far more enthusiastic about this marriage than the Su family. The key to this was Cheng Xiuqin's family. Cheng Xiuqin's family was originally an aristocratic and scholarly family. Although they weren't as rich as the wealthy businessmen, they were far more sophisticated than ordinary families. This was especially true for Old Master Cheng's generation. Old Master Cheng and Old Madam Cheng were both academicians in the Research Institute and belonged to different departments. Chapter 118. Hua Chihan and his wife had made use of their relationship with Cheng Xiuqin to set up this marriage. They had taken a liking to the Cheng family's connections and Su Yiyan, who was liked by Old Master Cheng and the rest of the Cheng family. They had wanted to use Su Yiyan to get close to the Cheng family, and from there, get close to the big shots who were on good terms with the Cheng family. It was a pity that the couple's plan had failed in the end because of Hua Xiaofeng, that idiot. It was precisely because of the Cheng family's powerful connections that Su Yiyan found it hard to believe that the Cheng family had suddenly declined in her previous life. Now that she knew that the world she lived in was just a book, and that the protagonists of this book were Hua Xiaofeng and Wen Jingping, Su Yiyan understood. In the face of great luck, no matter how powerful one's connections were, they were no match for the brainless protagonist aura of these two idiots. Su Yiyan had learned about the family Hua's schemes in her previous life, but Cheng Xiuqin and the others only realized it when they suddenly received a call from Mrs. Hua this morning. It had been a long time since the incident with Hua Xiaofeng. Hua Chihan and his wife had not come to apologize earlier or later. Instead, they had come right after the old master arrived. It was obvious that they had an ulterior motive. Thinking about how the two of them had been so enthusiastic about this marriage, how could they not understand? To think that I still treated her as a sister because of our friendship back when we were students. She's great. She followed her husband and son to scheme against my daughter and my family. Cheng Xiuqin's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. After her anger subsided, she felt a little relieved. Fortunately, you didn't marry Hua Xiaofeng. Fortunately, Hua Xiaofeng had dropped the ball before they got married. Otherwise, Su Yiyan would have been used as a raft when she got married. With Hu Xiaofeng's character, it was only a matter of time before he had an affair. Perhaps the family Hu couple would help him cover it up. After all, based on their behavior, it was very likely that they would do such a thing. The more Cheng Xiuqin thought about it, the more frightened he became. He was even more wary of Hu Chenhuan. Family Hu's youngest uncle is also a member of the family Hu. Could it be? No. Before Cheng Xiuqin could finish, Su Yan interrupted her. He won't. That's good, that's good. Cheng Xiuqin was not against the other party interacting with her family. In her opinion, it was normal for relatives to help each other. She simply hated this kind of approach with a motive. Since Su Yiyan was so certain, she could only choose to believe in her daughter's judgment. No matter what, it was better than her, a fool who had almost let a wolf into the house. They called and said that they wanted to visit. How did you reply to them? How else could I reply? Cheng Xiuqin snorted coldly. Just say that we appreciate their kindness and don't need to come over. Otherwise, we'll be annoyed when we see them. Su Yiyan laughed. That's very direct. They must be mad, right? So what if they're mad? They've already shed all pretense of cordiality. If they really go mad because of this, I'll immediately ask your brother to buy a truck full of firecrackers and set them off for 3 days and 3 nights to celebrate. I'm afraid that they're too thick-skinned. After they're done being angry, they'll have the cheek to come uninvited. Cheng Xiuqin's expression changed slightly. Don't say that. It's really possible. No, I'll ask your father to borrow a few hunting dogs from his friend. If they dare to come, I'll let the dogs bite them. I guarantee that they'll regret coming. Chapter 119. Su Yiyan did not want to admit that she was actually looking forward to seeing the couple being chased and bitten by dogs. Unfortunately, plans could not keep up with changes. She had just finished breakfast when a phone call came in. Yayan, are you free now? Brother Junxing? Su Yiyan was a little surprised. What's the matter? There is something, and it has something to do with Ning Chirui. Ning Chirui? Su Yiyan took a while to remember the small conflict she had with this person in Yi City. What's wrong with him? Did he go for a checkup? Yes, he went for a checkup yesterday. The results came out and said that there is indeed a problem with his body, and it is not a small problem. Yayan, you are amazing. It turned out that after Su Yiyan had reminded him of Ning Chirui's identity that day, Xia Junxing had been a little uneasy. After hesitating for a few days, he finally could not help but want to take Ning Chirui to the hospital for a checkup. He did not expect that someone would be one step ahead of him. Ning Chirui's agent was also anxious after that day. In the end, he decided to give Ning Chirui half a day's time and dragged him to the hospital for a full body checkup. As a result, the checkup found a big problem. Ning Chirui was stunned when he held the test report. For a moment, he even suspected that the hospital had been bribed by Su Yiyan and had colluded with her to deceive him. However, the agent had a sense of realization and fear. He handled the hospitalization procedures for Ning Chirui as quickly as possible. Just as he did not know how to tell the company about this, Ning Chirui's assistant and bodyguard had already told his elder brother, Ning Siyuan, the general manager of the Ning Group. When Ning Siyuan learned that his brother had been diagnosed with a serious illness, he immediately left the mess in the company and rushed to the hospital. He learned the whole story from Ning Chirui's agent and called Xia Junxing. So, he wants to contact me through you and meet me? Xia Junxing thought that Su Yiyan did not want to meet the Qi family, so he quickly said, if you don't want to see him, I will help you turn him down. No need. Su Yiyan stopped Xia Junxing and said with a smile, Ning Chirui is our company's most popular artist. Now that he's sick as the company's boss, it's not right for me not to visit him. That's right, after she went to the company that day, the company had been transferred to her name. She was now the real boss behind the scenes of this company. Xia Junxing breathed a sigh of relief. Then I'll pick you up now. Yes. When Su Yiyan arrived, Ning Chirui still did not believe that he had kidney disease and was arguing with his elder brother in the ward. Brother, I'm really not sick. Aren't all the hospitals like this now? Even if I'm not sick, they'll still say that I'm sick just to scam money. I know my own body very well. I don't feel any discomfort at all. How could I get such a serious illness? Ning Siyuan shot a disdainful glance at his stupid younger brother. It'll be too late by the time you feel uncomfortable, he said snappily. Chapter 120. Ning Siyuan was so angry that he laughed. You're already so old, yet you're still snitching to mom and dad. No wonder people keep telling me that you're still breastfeeding. Ning Chirue's face darkened. Who said that? I'm going to beat him up. You're so skinny? Save it. It's good enough that you didn't come crying to me after being beaten up. Brother, are you my real brother or not? Of course I'm your brother. It's because I'm your brother that I can't just stand by and watch you get into trouble. There's no room for discussion. Go home after you're cured, or I'll tell mom and dad now and ask them to come to the hospital to accompany you. You have two choices. Choose. Ning Chirui choked. Although he said that he would tell his parents, he did not dare to tell them about it. What if this was true? He didn't dare to imagine how sad his parents who loved him would be. Ning Siyuan felt sorry for his brother when he saw him like this. He sighed and said, Are you too scared, or do you not want to believe the Miss Su who warned you? Brother, you know about it? Ning Chirui was shocked. So it's the latter? You're hostile to Miss Su? Do you have a grudge against her? Ning Siyuan frowned. He arranged for the assistant and bodyguard to follow his brother for two reasons. First, to ensure his safety. Second, he was afraid that his brother would get into conflicts with others without knowing it. Before this, he did not hear from the assistant that his brother had any substantial grudge against Miss Su. When Ning Chirui heard this, he suddenly felt a little guilty. He turned his face away and said, I just find it strange. She and I only met once. How did she know about me? Could it be that she colluded with the hospital early on? As soon as Ning Chirui finished speaking, Ning Siyuan threw a stack of examination reports in front of him. I took your test samples and sent them to several authoritative hospitals for additional tests. The test results are the same. Test samples? Brother, when did you? Do you really think that I'm sure of your illness just based on a report without checking it? If possible, I hope more than anyone else that this is not true. The last bit of hope in his heart was completely shattered. The light in Ning Chirue's eyes gradually dimmed, and his whole person suddenly became dispirited. Seeing this, Ning Siyuan sighed again. He leaned over and hugged his younger brother, comforting him, Don't be afraid. I promise that I will get someone to treat you. There are so many doctors in this world. I don't believe that I can't find one who can cure you. Ning Siyuan paused. Also, I've asked someone to contact Miss Su. She should be here soon. Since she can see the problem with your body at a glance, maybe she has a ready-made way to help you. What? Did you find someone to contact her? Before Ning Chirui could finish his sentence, he heard a cough coming from outside the ward. Cough, cough, cough. The two brothers were stunned. Ning Siyuan's eyes narrowed dangerously as he scolded coldly, Who's outside? Come in. The door opened from the outside, revealing Xia Junxing and a certain someone who was grinning obscenely. When Ning Chirui saw the person's face clearly, he almost jumped out of bed. When did you come? Chapter 121. Su Yiyan did not have a good impression of the eldest son of the Ning family, but he did not have a bad impression of him either. Although this person looked serious, he was actually very fond of his younger brother. In the previous life, after Ning Chirui's death, he had helped Wen Jingping several times because of his younger brother's last words and his mother's pleas. Even his friends and subordinates suspected that he was treating Wen Jingping differently because he had taken a fancy to her. Later on, Huo Chenhuan asked him this question when they bumped into each other on the road. Su Yan was beside Huo Chenhuan at that time and clearly heard him say, she was the only person Chirui could not let go of before he passed away. If she died, my mother's only hope would be gone. I can't take this risk. I'm even more afraid that I won't be able to face Chirue when I'm in the afterlife. In short, he was not interested in Wen Jingping at all. It was only because his younger brother did not want his mother to lose her emotional support that he had no choice but to protect this ordinary woman. When Huo Xiaofeng and Wen Jingping bit the hand that fed them and tried to take over the Qi family's assets, Ning Xiyuan was not oblivious. He tried to resist. However, just like Su Yiyan in the previous life, Huo Xiaofeng was not even 1/10 of Ning Xiyuan's ability. If the two of them really fought, there was almost no doubt who would win. However, Huo Xiaofeng had the halo of a protagonist, so all his talents and abilities had to be put aside. He was just about to make a move on the Ning family when Ning Xiyuan met with an accident. Once Ning Xiyuan fell, the Ning family quickly fell into chaos. Huo Xiaofeng took advantage of the situation without any effort. They, who were used as stepping stones, were the ones who suffered the most. Thinking of this, Su Yiyan felt pity for the person in front of him. They were in the same boat. Ning Xiyuan saw that Su Yiyan had revealed his identity as soon as they met. His eyes flashed, but he did not say anything in the end. On the other hand, when Ning Chirue heard that Su Yiyan had been standing outside the door for a while, he realized that the person in question had overheard everything he had just said to his brother. He was furious. Why didn't you say anything when you came? Don't you know that eavesdropping on other people's conversations is impolite and immoral? Chirue. Ning Xiyuan scolded Ning Chirue in disapproval. Ning Chirue was still a little afraid of his brother, so he shut his mouth in embarrassment. However, his eyes were still glaring angrily at Su Yiyan. He looked like a bloated pufferfish. Su Yiyan was amused by his sullen look of being angry but not daring to speak. Second young Master Qi is right. It is indeed impolite to eavesdrop on other people's conversations. It's just that when we arrived, we happened to hear the two of you talking about me. Moreover, second young master was rather agitated at that time. If we rashly barged in at this time, I'm afraid that it would only worsen the situation. So, we decided to stand guard outside the door. When Su Yiyan said these words, he glanced at Ning Chirue teasingly, as if to say that it was impolite for them to eavesdrop on other people's conversations. Was it polite for them to talk behind people's backs? Ning Chirue's face turned red. He opened his mouth to refute, but he found that he could not say anything. Su Yiyan was right. He had indeed lost control of his emotions just now. If Su Yiyan and Ning Chirue had suddenly appeared at that time, Ning Chirue would not have been kind to them. He might even have said something hurtful in a fit of anger. Now, although he was still hostile to Su Yiyan, he had to admit that what Su Yiyan said that day was true. Chapter 122. As if sensing the change in the atmosphere in the ward, Ning Xiyuan wisely broke the silence and rescued his brother. Ahem. I invited Miss Su over today because of Chirue's illness. I heard that when Miss Su met Chirue for the first time, she could tell that there was something wrong with him and reminded him to come for a checkup. That's right. A glint flashed across Ning Xiyuan's eyes. How did Miss Su notice that there was something wrong with my brother? I studied Chinese medicine on my own. Chinese medicine is all about looking, listening, questioning, and feeling the pulse. Looking is to determine whether the patient's internal organs are healthy based on his facial features and determine the patient's physical condition. Chinese medicine? Ning Xiyuan's confusion was within Su Yiyan's expectations. In their world, after two great transitions, most of the Chinese herbs had gone extinct, not to mention Chinese medicine. It's a bit troublesome to explain. In short, every part of a person's body is interconnected. Once there is an internal problem, it will inevitably surface. Maybe you don't feel any discomfort at first, but in the eyes of an expert, your appearance has already warned you of your physical condition. Ning Xiyuan understood most of it. He frowned and asked suspiciously, Miss Su, do you mean that you can tell the internal disease from the external appearance? Then, Miss Su, can you help me check if there is anything wrong with my body? Su Yiyan knew that he was testing her, and the corners of her lips curled up slightly. She smiled faintly and said, Young Master Ning's breathing is more rapid and long than the average person's. It should be the asthma that came from his mother's womb. As soon as Su Yiyan said that, everyone's expression changed, especially Ning Chirui. No one knew better than him that his elder brother was born with asthma. Although the disease was not fatal, it could only be alleviated and was difficult to cure. When it flared up occasionally, it was very distressing. Compared to him, Ning Siyuan was much calmer. Although not many people knew about his asthma, it was not a secret. It did not mean anything that Su Yiyan could say. Su Yiyan was also aware of this, so he continued, "Other than that, your stomach isn't very good either. You should be having frequent stomach pains recently, right?" Ning Siyuan narrowed his eyes and finally looked at the person in front of him. "Brother, your stomach is really..." After this incident, Ning Chirui was really scared. He looked at Su Yiyan pitifully and said anxiously, "Is my brother's stomach a big problem? Do you need to check it too?" Su Yiyan burst into laughter. Ning Chirui was stunned, and his face turned red. A few days ago, Ning Chirui was still questioning her in a strange manner. How long had it been since their positions were completely reversed? Ning Chirui felt his face hurt a little. After Su Yiyan laughed, he didn't make things difficult for him. He said truthfully, "It's nothing serious for the time being. It's just a slight case of gastritis. However, since the disease has already occurred, we have no choice but to take it seriously. We have to recuperate for a period of time. Otherwise, if the inflammation worsens, it will be difficult to deal with." Ning Chirui breathed a sigh of relief and turned to look at his eldest brother. "Brother, did you hear that? Take good care of your stomach. Don't take your health too lightly." Ning Siyuan was speechless. He was here to persuade his younger brother to take good care of his illness. Why was he being lectured instead? Let's talk about Chirui's condition first. Miss Su, since you can see Chirui's condition at a glance, do you have a way to treat him? Chapter 123. Although she thought so, she did not show it on her face. "Young Master Ning, you think too highly of me. Just because I can tell doesn't mean that I know how to treat it." Ning Siyuan looked at Su Yian's calm expression and his eyes darkened. Naturally, he would not believe her words so easily. Others may not be able to do it, but it doesn't mean that Miss Su can't do it. Miss Su only met my useless brother once that day, and she was willing to remind him, a stranger she met by chance, to do this checkup. It shows that she is a kind and warm-hearted person. I don't think she can bear to see my brother get sick at such a young age and be involved with the hospital for the rest of his life, right? Putting on such a high hat was indeed a bit of moral kidnapping. Su Yiyan was silent and did not comment. Ning Siyuan continued, "And I heard that Miss Su has taken over Dongqing recently. Dongqing spent a lot of effort on Chirui and put in a lot of effort to get him to where he is today. If Chirui can't continue to work because of his illness, Dongqing will have to bear some losses." Su Yiyan was not surprised that Ning Siyuan knew about Dongqing's change of ownership. How could this hidden brother complex know nothing about the company his brother signed with? On the contrary, Ning Chirui seemed to have just learned the news and was thunderstruck. What? She took over Dongqing? Doesn't that mean she became his boss? Su Yiyan looked at his shocked face and wanted to tease him. She smiled and said, "That's right. Dongqing was originally my family's business, and it was transferred to my name 2 days ago. So, now you are an artist under me and I am your boss. Remember to be alert when you meet in the future. Don't be as reckless as before. Otherwise, if you make me unhappy, do you believe that I'll freeze you?" Ning Chirui's face turned green and white. He was angry and wrung his hands. Su Yiyan laughed and did not continue to tease him. She turned her attention back to Ning Siyuan. Dongqing has put in a lot of effort and resources to support Ning Chirui. Now that he's sick, he can't repay the company's nurturing. According to the company's contract, this part of the loss should be compensated by the artist. Thinking about it, the Qi family and the Ning family have big businesses. They should be able to afford such a small amount of money, right? Ning Siyuan's eyes turned cold. He had tried in vain to tempt Su Yiyan with benefits, but now he had been checkmated by Su Yian. His expression was rather ugly. Just as countless thoughts flashed through Ning Siyuan's mind, from coercion to sincere pleading, and then from pleading to a sky-high reward, Su Yian spoke again just as he was imagining the worst-case scenario. However, as President Ning said just now, I'm a kind-hearted and warm-hearted person. I really can't watch someone die in front of me, even if it's just a small life. Ning Chirue was speechless. Can you be more shameless? How could anyone boast and praise themselves like this? And what did you mean by that last sentence? He was the young master of the Ning family, but in her eyes, his life was just a small life. Was she looking down on him? Ning Chirue, who felt that he was being looked down upon, was furious again. Xia Junxing, who had followed Su Yian closely and had been silently standing behind her, was also stunned by Su Yian's actions. He sighed inwardly. Was this little girl's skin so thick? She could really compete with her brother. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.